I'm all over this. I kind of like it.
Awesome.
So, hello, and welcome to Stones Live Survivor Series.
Hi.
We are at Stones Gambling Hall.
I'm David Tuckman.
Yeah, this is David Tuckman.
Nice to meet
straight
you.
up.
Of course, Justin Caritis and Justin Kelly, Fat Train, David Tuckman here. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here for our second Saturday, I should say, April 16th, all the way through June 18th. The Survivor Series is going on. And to explain the rules to us and exactly what's going on, Justin Caritis, what do we have in store for our viewers tonight?
So we got a 2-5 no limit game running right now, and great game, awesome lineup. Every half hour at home you have the opportunity to vote for your favorite player. We post a new category every 30 minutes. Right now we're going to start off with the best dressed player. So you log in, you vote. At the end of the game, whoever has the most votes total is going to come back for Event 10 on June 18th, a single table sit and go tournament. The winner of that tournament, we're buying them into the WSOP main event.
Woo! World Series.
So you can literally parlay no money into a 10K seat, which of course
You could
could be
actually
worth
make
millions.
money. You could make money in the game.
right.
Huge. You could get paid to get in the main event.
Numerous
Seems
ways.
like a pretty good deal to
By the
me.
way, so we're doing
actually.
this every Saturday for the next 7 Saturdays after this, and then of course you say it is culminating in a sit and go where the 9 winners will play. The winner of that, we're sending them to Vegas. A lot of ways for you to get in, and you can still get in in subsequent weeks. We'll talk about that later on.
No, I want to mention here for limit players out there, if they're not aware of this, we have a lot of entries for all of the events so far, but coming up next week, 6-12 limit hold'em, not a lot of entries. So if someone wants to get in and they're a limit player and they want an opportunity to win their main event seat playing limit hold'em, this is a great chance. They got to get their bio in to Stone Survivor at Stones Gambling Hall before noon on Wednesday. So there's still plenty of time to get your seat locked up.
I know this. I know 6 of the 9 players that are in next Saturday's game. They're all really boring. If you want a chance, next week is your best opportunity to get into the final sit and go. Guaranteed.
Awesome. Well, you guys seem to have this pretty much under control, so I'm going to pop out of here and let you guys get to the action.
This is a very foolish man.
Yes. I can't believe they're letting us do this.
Yeah. Get out of here. Go back to work. Justin Caritis, guys.
Wait, kick that
The
seat.
J&J. Let's get rid of this chair.
Get rid of Justin, get rid of his chair, all the above.
We'll do that.
There's only enough room for one Justin in here, my friend.
Yes. So Justin Kelly, David Tuckman, a.k.a. Fat Train, a.k.a. Tuck on Sports. As always, we welcome the Twitch viewers, and you can join us. I see that Jake427, I see Watbry, I see Nightbot. Nightbot and I are close,
Yeah, there we
really
go.
good
Sweet.
friends.
We speak a lot.
Heck, Jacopo, whatever, Plastica.
Plastica, yeah.
All in there. So thank you so much for joining us. A lot to talk about, and a very juicy 2-5 game.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome action. I have a feeling. Trust me.
I have already been up here for about 4 hours and happily donated $1,300 to the local poker economy. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, I was playing in the 2-5 game earlier, and I guess it didn't go well.
Yeah, no, well, you had the advantage.
That
right?
happens.
Yeah, you tried. Give it a shot.
I took a shot, but well, my loss is everybody here's game.
Yeah, that's right. Like you said, you're just stimulating the poker economy. You're doing your part as a player.
That's what I'm here to do.
So.
Stimulate the economy. So thank you so much for joining us. By the way, if you have any questions for us and you want to kind of make sure you get it to us, you can always tweet us. I'm at Tuck on Sports.
And I'm at Fat Train, so you can get us there.
You're the only Fat Train?
That's it. The one and only.
Crazy.
The one and only.
You didn't even do like Fat Train 12?
Nope. Didn't. No numbers. Numberless. Nailed it.
Wow.
Also, if you guys want to get a hold of us another way too, if you're watching right now, hop in the chat room. If you don't have a Twitch account, sign up for one. Just talk to us right on there. We can answer you right here on the spot live. So
let's get to it.
Yeah, we got a hell of a lineup. I think we should just start going around the tables and introducing some players.
Let's do that.
Right off the bat, in seat 1, we have Hot Dog. He's making his second return here. You might have saw him last week also in the Stone Survivor Series. He has 9 grandchildren. This time he actually qualified by writing one of those bios we were talking about, whereas last week he actually qualified by winning the Saturday tournament. And he actually had the top-rated bio, 48 out of 60 points.
Yeah, we have 4 of the 9 players at this table have submitted a bio. They got in through bio. We will read their bios to you.
Absolutely.
The bios are entertaining, but not grammatically correct. They are English challenged, to say the least. But
Love it.
Hot Dog didn't get much going last week. He just couldn't get many cards. If
Yeah.
you watched last week's show, very frustrating day for him last week. We'll see if he can turn that around today.
Absolutely. Going over to seat 2, looks like we have Yoda, and you may have seen him from some of our previous streams. He actually qualified by playing Hours. He also uses a Lucky Yoda card protector, and I know our first category here is actually going to be, I believe, for Best Dressed.
Best dressed or most stylish?
Or most stylish. Take a look at Yoda. I believe you're going to see some interesting muscles that Yoda has developed over the last week or two. Possibly made of foam, possibly not. I think we'll find out. I think we'll find out
We
together.
saw a glimpse there, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he might be trying to feed off of last week's winner,
Yep.
Jake, who
Jake the Tank.
yeah, he was quite muscle bound and ended up winning last week. So we'll see if Yoda or Joda,
Yeah.
as he calls himself, can capitalize on that momentum.
Adapting his play.
Exactly, I like it. So tell us about number seat 3.
Seat 3, we have J-Mac, Jason McRoberts, huge regular on the stream here, very action player. He actually qualified this time by his bio, and he's an expert at reading opponents and exploiting weakness. He's one of these players that's really not afraid to throw money in the pot, splash around a little bit, knowing that he's probably going to get all of that and then some back with interest later. Just putting these players on edge, putting him on tilt, just kind of needling him when he sees the opportunity.
Yeah, now he is readily admitting that he is. There are 6 categories for you at home to vote for. Categories ranging from most stylish and best dressed all the way to skill, lucky, who's got the most gamble. I'm going to go on a limb and say that Jason, he's tanking category 1.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Category 1, he just goes, okay, I have no chance at most stylish or best dressed. I'm not going to win this one, but the other 5,
He's in.
he's going to be very competitive.
He's in. Absolutely.
Seat number 4 is Steve K, also qualified by bio. Can you tell us about him?
Let's see here. Steve K actually is a tournament grinder, and he considers himself a student of the poker psychological game. So definitely gets involved in the mental aspect a lot. One of the guys I think who plays the player a lot more than the cards, for sure.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Student of poker psychology. I don't think you can actually be a student of them. Is that a school?
I don't know.
Right.
He's trying to be the teacher. He's auditioning to be the teacher. He's starting
Right.
the school.
I was wondering who teaches that.
Yeah.
So seat number 5 is empty for now. Seat 6, another returning player. That's Loretta. She goes by Low. Now, last week she got in through bio,
Yes.
and amazingly, this week she got in through bio.
She got it through bio, and I think part of that has to do with her bio is very witty, very clever, and she considers herself shark bait. I believe it goes on about a little story about a fish and swimming and navigating the waters and trying to avoid the sharks and this and that. And we'll probably get into that bio a little more later, but it was enough to get her in here, just off pure bio votes. So again, take some time, be creative, really just think about it, have some fun with your bio. It doesn't have to be just a laundry list of your achievements. Really just make us laugh, make us, just write something that you wouldn't want to read as well.
Don't suck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't suck. That's the
There
thing. The good thing about Loretta is whether she actually eventually gets the seat to the main event or not, she might get herself a job writing. I don't even know if she's a writer by trade or not, but I mean, if she keeps winning best bio,
That's it. Probably see her every week. Doesn't even matter. Bio.
I kind of like it.
We're good.
We have Nat in seat number 7.
Another person who qualified by the bio. Considers himself, now this is self-proclaimed, mind you, and it's up to you guys to challenge this if you want to get in the game with him, the most aggressive and most feared player in Sacramento. Period. End of story. That's it.
I kind of feel like that's, when you go to a town and you go to a new city and you see a burger joint that you don't recognize, it's not a national brand,
Yeah.
and then you see voted on, best burger in Placentia,
Yeah.
wherever you are. And then you realize that it was, voted best burger by like the local paper, like the local penny trade or something.
It was a survey of 4 friends down the street that they gave free burgers to and said, "Is this burger awesome?"
Right, this is the best burger ever. So I'm fairly certain that Nat is, he had that thing going on. Igor in seat number 8, another return player. So 3 of our 9 players, I assume we're getting one more.
Who's actually involved in a hand right now. He goes by the Mad Russian here, as you'll see there from seat 8. He's got 5-6 offsuit currently.
By the way, he's changed his hairstyle from last week, and he's put on a different shirt. I think he's actually going for the stylish.
Yeah, that's it. He's messing up. He's going for it. And let's see here.
By the way, every time I see Igor, all I can think of is I can't believe I'm liking this now. We'll see in a second. Who's everybody's favorite assassin? Oswald.
Oh, okay.
Tell me there's not a resemblance. Quickly, I've been watching that show on Hulu. You know the.
Oh God, what is it? It's got
11/22.
There you go. It's got the date right. Yeah, about the JFK assassination.
Yeah, exactly. The Stephen King book. A great book, by the way.
Yeah.
If you are a reader, if you can read, first of all, congratulations.
If you're not a reader, read it anyways.
Yeah, congratulations that you can read. But it's great. It's not a great adaptation. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I don't think Hulu's done a very good job with it. That said, great book. He could totally pass for Oswald.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean that as a compliment.
No, it's true. It's true. No, I totally get it.
Yeah. And seat number 9. Everybody's favorite is Hux, and Hux is actually he's invisible tonight.
Yep. Hux, best dressed, most stylish. You can't even see him.
Right. He looks
It's
great.
amazing. And Hux, also qualified by the bio, believes in the poker economy, which Tuck so graciously donated to earlier.
Score.
And taking care of the dealers when he wins. It's also a big, important part of it for him, and I respect that. Absolutely. Our dealers work hard here, and I gotta be honest with you, we got really great dealers here, for sure.
Yeah.
They're on point. They're on the ball.
I have been not trying to blow smoke up anybody's ass, but in all fairness, I tip my hat, my invisible hat, to the owners here and the management here, and I said this when I came in January. The dealers, to the waitresses, to the floormen, everybody. It seems like everybody really cares.
Oh, even the cleaning staff, even the one who you barely even see when he's out there. I mean, he's just killing it. He's putting in work, and the thing is, I actually see players tip the cleaning staff, which you almost never see.
Dude, I was at the urinal earlier on.
Yeah.
And I was doing my business there, and a guy mopped right under my feet while I was doing my business. I mean,
Right.
they are top notch here.
Yeah,
no
for
doubt. Once again, you are watching Stone's Live Survivor Series. We are at Stone's Gambling Hall. This is Fat Train. I'm David Tuckman. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Snugadoo, welcome to the chat. I see there's a new person in there, so thank you so much. Table Talk Poker as well. So a 2-5 game, a lot of calls around. Hot Dog did not raise the button with Ace Queen.
No. Bold strategy. Starting off light. I think these guys are really just getting warmed up. I think that we're gonna start seeing some splashing as the night goes on. I think there's a lot of players at this table who are poised to, it doesn't matter what their cards are. They're just
Look how
in.
deep we are, by the way.
Yeah.
This is a 2-5 game now. The buy-in is $200 to $1,000. But the one thing that is great at Stone's Live, at Stone's Gambling Hall, is you can match the.
Yeah, we're already
stack.
way over that. Look at those chip stacks.
That's what I'm saying. So theoretically, you could jump in this game and buy in for almost 600 big blinds.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's fantastic.
It's huge. These games run really, really deep too. I mean, and like you're seeing here, these guys are not afraid to play. Just because the blinds are what they are, it has nothing to do with how these guys are going to play.
So who is the most aggressive and most feared player in soccer? Nat. Okay, so Nat in the plaid shirt with the sunglasses on. You know what? I don't know him, but I'm a little bit intimidated.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I just got a Yoda muscle flash. I just had to check that. All right, so don't forget, guys, you are voting right now. You have another 17 minutes to vote here. We're going to flash the link in the chat room for you. But again, you're voting for the best dressed / most stylish player.
I don't want to influence your pick. Oh, there's Hux.
I don't want to influence it either, but I'm a huge fan of C2 right there. I love the foam muscles.
I like the effort.
Yeah.
You put a little effort in there. It's kind of nice. J-Mac and his apparent, the fact that he doesn't care at all
Yeah.
is somewhat attractive.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's cool in its own way, right?
So we get a raise, and now we get a 3-bet by Nat, and he is already living by the mantra. Now, this is an interesting spot because this was
Oh, and he gets
I
J-Mac
believe
off
this
of
was
it.
a limp re-raise.
And
J-Mac
again,
actually raised out of the small blinds.
living
I
up
believe-
to the most feared, right there. There it is. Pushing people off pods, getting aggressive.
It's an interesting play there. So Steve K's our short stack. I mean, our shortest stack has almost 140 bigs.
Yeah, no, this game's gonna be huge. Welcome to the chat, the Jake. I love it. You know, even when we don't have all the commentators in the booth, they're all here with us in spirit. You know, they're all always hanging out.
Jake's a good guy. Will Jake come in later on?
Most likely.
Make his donation?
He'll be part of the after party, yeah.
Yeah.
The donation to the poker community.
I like Callie Dunks. Welcome in. Says I thought Tuck was playing. No, I played earlier, and I'll play here after the show.
Yeah.
The drinks will be flowing, and I'll play some more.
So when you start seeing us wrap it up, come in here for free money, guys. We are easily
Yeah, exactly.
available.
I'm already. Hey, I'm already down 1,300, and I'm chasing my money. So
I'm desperate, guys. I'm here. I'm in.
yeah, exactly. Super desperate. I'm probably gonna give it away.
So it looks like we got Yoda here popping it up to 20 with pocket 7s. And J-Mac's going to call with 6-4.
Now, could he not get the rights to Yoda, the spelling, the correct
No,
spelling?
I love it. You know what? It's different, right? I mean, I only know one Yoda with a J. So
I don't know any Yodas with a J.
No, I know.
Oh,
That's
except
it.
this one.
That's it. That's the only one I know.
Okay. So J-Mac with the gutter. Now I know J-Mac has been crushing tournaments. How's his cash game?
Like I said, his cash game is pretty strong. I mean, I was sitting at him with a table recently, and he comes back, and he's basically just got back from Vegas. And at the end of the day, I mean, this guy is not afraid to put money out there. Period. No matter what a game is. I mean, he's a gambler, but at the same time, he's also a poker player. So he knows what he's doing, but he's not afraid to gamble, which can be very dangerous if you're at the table with him.
Yeah. I mean, you love guys that give action and bring action to the game, and that it creates action for the entire table. Money gets thrown around, but he can put you in a tough spot at times.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
and he's one of those players where it's not so obvious. Like, there's some players who play so tight that when they go all in, you pretty much think, okay, he probably has, this sort of big hand. Whereas when a guy like J-Mac goes in, he's either or. He has literally complete air, or he's got the stone cold nuts.
Right. 13 minutes left in category number 1, which is the first category, which is voting for best dressed or most stylish player.
And remember, guys, you get 1 vote per IP address. So if you're watching at home on like a desktop computer, you get 1 there. Turn off the Wi-Fi on your phone, and then you can also vote again from your phone. So you get at least 2 little voting potentials there. So vote for your favorite. Really, the votes speak volumes. That's who's going to win this tonight.
And if you're like me and you're too cheap to get your own Wi-Fi, you can probably latch on to all of your neighbor's Wi-Fi. So you might even be able to vote 4 or 5 times.
That's it.
King 10 deuce, couple of diamonds out there. Doesn't look like anybody has much of anything. Hops with top pair, but no kicker at all, and nobody has anything to kind of give him an issue. He's going to bet 20. I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed in the returns. Love me some low.
Yeah.
I like the Mad Russian. I'm all over it.
Love it.
But I mean, I'm surprised. All the players knew the categories going in.
Yeah, and I wasn't actually sure if we were going to have the same categories or different ones. So, again, we have best dressed and most stylish. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't get some more people kind of sprucing it up a bit.
That's what I mean. I mean, it's a whole category. Why not? If you can take an early lead in category 1, I mean, you know a couple of players are going to try to be. It's hard to, it's hard to predict how lucky you will be on any given night.
Yeah.
You can try to be the most aggressive player, but there's probably going to be 2 or 3 players that are very aggressive. Skill is kind of a subjective thing.
Yeah, when it comes to luck, I just try to buy a horseshoe on eBay. Generally, they work out all right for me. But
You have one inserted inside.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the surgery that hurts the most, really. But so
Yeah,
look
I don't
at
even do surgery. My wife just sticks it up there.
and not even willfully too. No, the Mad Russian, I love with the whole red getup. Doesn't he remind me kind of a Teddy KGB right out of Rounders? Right, I think doesn't he wear like the red kind of sweater jumpsuit in Rounders at some point? It just I'll have to look it up.
All I can think of is Malkovich. All I see is Oswald.
Yeah.
I hope the Mad Russian doesn't take it the wrong way. I'm not.
Yeah, no. That's
I'm
a
in no way
compliment, yeah.
assuming that this guy is going to try to kill anybody. I'm just saying he looks like that character.
I guess we did get away with this.
So we got a raise here, and now J-Mac is 3-bet. So very aggressive game so far. Mad Russian calls.
And Yoda, the original raiser, is going to call as well.
Now I wonder how Hot Dog is going to adjust, because this game might be a little bit much for him.
I think Hot Dog's used to playing much more tight, and he's going to have to really loosen up and get funky. For
Or,
sure.
I mean, you can make the argument, I can make the argument that, if a game is playing really passive, you want to be opposite of what the game is.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody's playing it too tight and really passive, you can be a little aggressive and put the pressure on the players. And if everybody else is playing too many hands and playing overly aggressive, you can actually tighten up your range. And every time that Hot Dog gets in there, he's got the nuts.
Yeah,
he's got a huge hand.
It's huge. Mad
course.
Russian here waking up with second nut flush draw right here on the flop. It's 200 to call. Looks like he's going to pop it up again. J-Mac bets 2, and Russian's going to go up to, looks like 600 maybe, something like that.
I kind of like this play. I mean, I don't think he's getting J-Mac to fold a legitimate hand. If J-Mac has, 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, I don't think he's folding it because the board is so wet, it's so draw heavy. That said, he's gonna have some fold equity against J-Mac's like ace high type hands. He can get those hands to fold, and I think more importantly, even if he does get called, at worst he probably has 12 outs.
Yeah.
He's probably got a king as an out or any heart.
Yeah. And I think he's playing on both those overs as well. He's not just betting the flush draw. I think he's also knowing he's putting the king and the 10 in that situation as well.
Right. Certainly, at least the king. And it's one of those things. I mean, I think calling a 3-bet with king 10 suited out of position is a little bit ambitious. But if you're going to call with king 10, I don't think you can ever fold.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
You know,
and it works. He's going to take it down. Yeah. Perfect. And I think there was really no contest since everybody else had air. There's really no room for anybody to play back at him.
Right. And I'm really curious to see how J-Mac adjusts his game, playing in a full ring cash game that is really, really deep, as opposed to a tournament. You know, obviously there are many differences between tournaments and cash games, but one of the primary differences is how deep you are.
Yeah.
You're never at a final. You're never 600 big blinds deep.
Yeah.
300 big blinds
never.
deep.
Yeah, you're always really fighting for every chip there.
Right, maybe
here,
level 1.
Oh, and speaking of our type player hot dog, you're waking up with aces under the gun.
Now this is the game for him as well, though.
Yeah.
Not only picking up a hand like this, but somehow giving the impression to his opponents that he's not just in there with the stone.
Of course, absolutely. Now he has to actually get a little bit of a, even if he's going to play super tight, I think he needs to give the appearance of being a lot looser than he is a few times to really get paid off in those tight spots.
And there are many ways to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you necessarily, I know a lot of people that are super, super tight, nittiest guys in the world, or girls, but they talk a lot.
Yeah.
Or they do certain things to kind of just give the impression
That they're just
that
loose,
more
they're hanging
action.
out, they're having fun,
Right.
whatever, you know.
Maybe they put a straddle in there. Maybe they buy drinks at the table. Whatever it is.
No, exactly. You don't have to just be losing pots with these hands and, you know, to show that. And so Hot Dog here, ace is still good at this point.
Yeah, let's see how much attention Mad Russian is paying. I mean, I think you've got to call at least one straight with Mad Russian if you got top pair. But against Hot Dog's range, you could even make the argument that you could call once and then fold to the turn. Because Queen Jack, maybe you're beating an ace high flush draw here.
But you know, if he has any of the piece of that, I mean, you're outkicked, right? I mean, if he doesn't already have you crushed, you know you're outkicked. So,
Remember, Hot Dog raised under the gun.
yeah. And again, with his current tight image, right? I mean, it's
I wouldn't even hate a fold right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Hot Dog betting 175 into this many opponents.
and yeah, the pot was already 1 1/4, so he already overbet pot size. You
Right.
know, so he's showing that, hey, I have a monster, get out of my way.
I feel like the worst hand he has here is Ace Queen of Hearts.
Yeah. And
And by the way, we saw him limp on the button with Ace
yeah,
Queen.
with ace queen. So that right there, I mean, obviously they don't know that, but that gives it, that's huge tight. I mean, so tight. You can make diamonds out of that cold.
I mean, if Mad Russian puts any, if he doesn't hit a queen or a jack, I was going to say, and he didn't obviously on the turn. If he puts any more money in the pot, this is a mistake.
Yeah, and now it's funny because this actually isn't the worst turn card for Hot Dog. He's thinking, you know what, even if for some reason the Russian got me, right? Even if he just somehow got 2 pair or a set, I have sub outs. I can make a wheel now too. Just misses it. Hot Dog.
Yeah, but it is a heart now. Is Mad Russian ever going to turn his hand into a bluff? Nope, he checks.
We can see check and check down. Hot Dog's gonna take it.
And that's just a matter of, knowing your opponent. Now, I would say normally, a lot of times we know more about the players than the players at the table do because we see a lot of cards.
Oh, absolutely.
But we're what? 11 minutes into this one.
Yeah, no, like these players are gonna really, they're just learning about each other right now. They're just figuring each other out, seeing how everything stakes out.
But these guys played against each other last week. Remember, these guys have played with each other last week, so that I feel like the Mad Russian should be a little more familiar.
Yeah. Or 3 returnees right there.
Would have been really interesting had the Mad Russian turned his hand into a bluff.
Yeah, and we've seen that in some of the previous streams. We've seen some epic bluffs. In fact, Yoda was really doing that too in the last stream he was on, where if the flush got there, he would represent it every time, and I'd say more often than not, he was blowing people off their hands really quickly.
And by the way, the fact that it was the King of Hearts on the river makes it so much less likely that Hot Dog actually had a flush.
Yeah.
Because the King of Hearts would make up a lot of what his pre-flop raise, double barrel range would be.
Yeah.
Because obviously when you see the King of Hearts there, he can't have Ace King Hearts.
Exactly.
He can't have King Queen of Hearts.
Yeah, and he's not doing that with, King Jack under the gun.
He's not doing that with Ace 10 of Hearts,
yeah.
right? He doesn't have those hands. We've seen that already. So Nat raises to 50 in the cutoff. It's a big open. I believe this is a straddle pot.
Yeah, are they doing a round of tournaments? No.
I don't know if they're doing a round or not, but I believe J-Mac is going to straddle, and I think he can straddle.
I'm always sucker for a good round of straddles. Man, you talk about creating some action.
Well, especially out of look at the game. It's 2,000 behind J-Mac, 1,300 behind Nat. Mad Russian's got 900. And that was after losing 700.
Yeah, and you can match big stacks. I mean, the thing is, even if one of these guys felt, I mean, they could rebuy for top stack right there. So this game isn't going anywhere quick. This game is not going to break. This is going to roll.
Once again, welcome all you guys on Twitch. Thanks for spending your Saturday night with us. Stones Live Survivor Series, Fat Train, David Tuckman here.
If you guys are semi-local at all, we have, looks like another 7 or 8 cash games going right now outside of this. Oh, wow.
Wait a second, so that was a 3-bet. J-Mac just made it 170. Mad Russian made it 112.
Oh, we got some action. J-Mac's going to fire out.
Don't adjust your TV at home or your computer.
These cards are right. This pot is right, guys. We got some poker going on. Let's say 275, I think, might be the bet here. Into 400, 250, into 400. And, oh, wow, and the Mad Russian gets it all in. Both guys just...
I'm not sure if they're not aware. This is not the aggression category.
This is, I think they're pre-playing the categories for later, because this is some poker right here.
Oh, no, it's here.
Is that what you call it?
I guess. Well, it's intense because, J-Mac literally has no redraw, so it's not like he can even fathom calling this.
By the way, this is nothing. I played 2-5 here.
Yeah.
From 2 p.m. till about 6 p.m. This doesn't even slightly resemble 2-5.
Not at all. Not even close. Oh, look. He's snapping. He's ready. Feels good about it. Love it. Everybody's heard that before. Right across the room, you hear that one guy just making that loud clap because he either hits that, 2-outer or just makes that super bluff. Nice play there, man. That was, yeah, look at that.
You mentioned, by the way, that J-Mac is not afraid to put a lot of chips on the table, knowing that he will get them back later with interest.
Yeah.
So he is the first part of your prediction coming true.
So far.
He's down a quick $700 in 21 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, and he's the type of guy who, he'll bluff off the rest of his stack. It didn't work, and he'll reload for table max. He'll just hop in there and let's play.
Right.
Yoda waking up with a big hand here with kings and the big blind.
I really want to say Yoda with like an accent.
I know.
Yoda?
I know.
Yoda?
These are not the projects.
Yeah. Low picks up 8s. Now, as you mentioned, so 3 of these players played the 1-3 game last week. And you just wonder, at this point, I'm not familiar enough with the player pool up at Stones to know which of these players are traditionally 1-3 guys and which ones are traditionally 2-5. But I'm guessing that J-Mac, last week we saw Cobra on the one.
Exactly.
And I know he plays bigger as well.
Exactly.
I know Low from last week is more of a tournament grinder.
Exactly.
Doesn't usually play cash games.
And that's where I know her from, is tournaments, yeah.
Right, so this is a big step up.
Absolutely.
To jump into the cash game fray and now go to 2-5 where we're talking about, thousands of dollars on the table, can be a little intimidating.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not about the money at this point. If this isn't the level or the style that you play at all the time, then jumping into this, you got to warm up. You got to figure out where you're at. You really got to get your bearings, especially if you're a tournament grinder, because this is the exact opposite of grinding in a tournament right here.
What a great flop for Joda. This is the kind of flop you just love because your opponent's calling range is rarely going to have a 5 in it. Occasionally she will, but obviously very, very rare. And it's just one of those where even if she has a jack, she's drawing so thin right now.
Yeah. Oh, here, look at the turn.
And if she does have a jack, you're just going to get a ton of value.
Yeah. Real quick, guys, I know we're in the middle of this hand, but you have 1 minute left to place your votes for the best dressed, most stylish player. So if you haven't done that, do it right now because we're going to move into the next category here in a minute, which will be the most entertaining player. So get in your votes right now for best dressed, and then we'll move into most entertaining.
Double barrel there.
Takes it down.
From Yoda, and he takes it down. So he's got 3K in front of him. J-Mac now at 1,600. Low is our short stack at 543, but keep in mind it's not a tournament. To your point, just seconds remaining.
Yeah, seconds.
In this category.
Well, chat room, I think we had somebody in here comment earlier. Lee Harvey Oswald's killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Well played, sir. Well played. Let's see if I can... I'm gonna keep these bios handy for when it's apropos.
Absolutely. Mad Russian waking up with a hand here. He's got pocket 4s. He's going to pump it up to 30. I love it. Whether it's 3-6 off, or just totally bluffing at it, or whether it's 4s, he's in there.
But I mean, keep in mind, it's not even like he went it all in pre. He decided to flat $170
Yeah.
with 6-3.
Yeah, and then pump on the flop. Raise. All in.
I always
No
maintain,
hesitation.
I always maintain when you blow the pot up, players make mistakes because then suddenly their eyes get big. They see
Yeah.
this pot and they go, "Is there a way I can win this pot?"
And they make one of those affectionately what I call the O calls, the O F it calls, right? And then you know, it's anyone's game at that point. Yeah.
Or the OF it
Yeah.
shoves.
Yeah, all of them. You're like, oh, okay, well, I gotta go for it.
I'm just gonna shove and just hope my opponent doesn't have an ace.
Yeah.
Or a heart.
Yeah, literally finger cross shove. Just
Right. Once again, we are playing 2-5. We're up at Stone's Gambling Hall, just a stone's throw.
I see
Sacramento.
what you did there.
You see that?
It's a great day in Sacramento. Great weather outside. Great day for some poker. Great day for some action.
Is it a great day?
Oh, it's a great day. Speaking of great days, get your votes in right now. You are voting for the most entertaining player from the 7:30 to 8 p.m. period. The most entertaining player. Right now, personally, I was with the Mad Russian. He was stoked. He was not afraid to put chips in there. He was pumping. He was clapping. We're going to see who else gets on the entertainment front.
Top pair for J-Mac, second pair for Hux, Mad Russian with bottom pair, and Steve obviously not with much of anything. Now, the only thing I did not clarify this with Justin. By the way, I know you're listening to the table talk. I can't hear the table talk.
Yeah.
If anything's interesting, let me know.
That's why I just piped in, just in case.
You tell me to shut up. I'm happy with that. I have no problem. Hux is going to bet with second pair, and he bets 120
Into
into
200.
80.
Oh, was it in 80? Okay, so the total cost 200. Gotcha.
I mean, it's a really interesting. It's 120 with second pair.
And we've seen several times where people are betting more than a pot right off the bat, like without even thinking.
But normally when you overbet the pot, you'd think you'd be doing it with some sort of a polarized range, like
Yeah.
you know, maybe a big draw or maybe kind of a nutted hand where you
Yeah.
want to build the pot up. You wouldn't normally see that with second pair.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. Now nobody has a club. This opens up straight potential for J-Mac. Still with the best hand, and it's on him first. He's thinking about firing here. He's grabbing some chips.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Hux, you gotta hate this.
200 is the bet here.
J-Mac called, and I would assume he's turning his hand into a bluff right now. I don't even know.
Well, the ace is a scary card. I mean, it completes a flush draw. It completes into somebody with king 10 having open-ended.
Right, but J-Mac's got a pair of queens, so what's he getting to fold?
Yeah,
I mean, he's getting what, specifically king queen to fold?
yeah, pretty much.
That doesn't have a club, and hoping to
Yeah,
get
and you think, I mean, Queen Jack's gonna at least flat him there, or do
Queen
something
Jack's
with
not
it.
folding, yeah.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. So
That's a weird spot. Okay, so we have not clarified this with Justin.
Okay.
Curitis, who was, of course, the tournament director here at Stone's Gambling Hall. Does a great job. But as voters, home jurors, or whatever you want
Yes.
to call them,
jurors, I
are
like
we
that.
are they factoring in the first 30 minutes for most entertaining for the second 30 minutes?
You know, I think you're going to get a combination of both. I think you're going to get some people who are voting just by the book at that specific during that time period, and then I think you're going to get guys who are just fans of their favorite players, right? It's your buddy. I got to vote for my buddy. I don't care what he's wearing. I don't care how he's playing. But then, for me personally, when I'm doing it and I'm just trying to be like as unbiased as I can, I like to take everything into account. I like to take the whole thing. So if somebody made some monster action moves or some monster bluffs in the first half hour when we were voting for most stylish player, I'm still going to give them credit for that later, personally.
Right.
That's what I'm going to do. You know.
And I think that's great. I guess that's the question I have is, should we, is it all kind of a culmination, or is it during this 30-minute period, this player has to be lucky? Or is it just a culmination?
And especially on this half-hour delay, too. I mean, these guys aren't exactly knowing where they're at and right this minute.
Set of deuces here for Nat.
And a little wheel draw for J-Mac. This could get interesting. And Hot Dog here with the mystery hand. But I think that
If
these
J-Mac
players...
was suited, it's kind of hand I like to play this hand fairly aggressive if I'm J-Mac, if it was suited. Like if he had ace-5 spades.
Yeah, so he could potentially pick up spade draw as well in the turn, depending on what came.
Yeah. Because you start looking at the way the hand plays out, and a hand like that has a lot of equity. And you can also double barrel, and you can. There's a lot of good bluff cards.
Yeah.
Because if your opponent has a hand like 7-6,
Oh, I was just gonna say 7-6. Yeah.
how much heat can they really take?
And whatever hits the turn, it's very easy to start firing them off because
Right.
you know, unless it's a 6 or a 7 or a 4 or 5, you know.
What is that noise?
It's a blender. Somebody's getting some cocktails. Always happy hour prices, guys. Come on down here, have some drinks, play some cards.
Drinks flowing, huh? I like. By the way, I like raising right away if I'm that. I really do. Because I think J-Mac is one of those players where he could take the bait and just go with it.
Oh yeah.
And really try to like put a lot of pressure. Because I mean, that's not repping much on a 7-3 deuce rainbow board.
What do you rep it, right? I mean, yeah. No, I love it. I love it.
Nat wouldn't do this, and look, and you can see J-Mac is calling here. He's kind of floating,
Yeah.
hoping he can take it away. And by the way, if I'm Nat, I might check raise and then check.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Easy
And I think-
for us. We can see the cards.
No, I know, of course, yeah. My hindsight vision's always 20/20, but you know, the thing about J-Mac too is he also is thinking that he probably has an ace is good too. You know, depending on here, right? Because okay, cool, I don't miss my wheel, but I hit an ace and I'm still good. So you know, he's calculating those as at least another 3 outs for him.
I think if you're Nat, you have to bet an amount here that gives the impression that you could still theoretically fold. The problem is I don't think he's deep enough to do that. Yeah,
It's like
I see.
300 into 672 right here.
Yeah, and I don't like the sizing simply because when you have the board just crushed.
Yeah.
I mean, if J-Mac has the overpair, yeah, you're probably going to get paid off a little bit. Although you could find a fold, and J-Mac's still calling. Well, I guess I'm wrong. I have no idea what I'm doing, guys.
See, and then they're going.
Proven right here today. I have no idea what I'm doing.
789 doesn't complete runner flush draw. There's not really much for Nat to be afraid of out
No,
here.
I'm not.
You know, and that's
What are you scared of? You think you're scared of that Jack 10?
It's literally the only thing he can be afraid of is a higher set. You're not afraid of a straight. Nobody called with 5-6.
And by the way, if my opponent has a higher set, you tap the table and you go, nice hand.
Yeah,
you can go.
and here's my money, right? I mean, that's what you do. So,
I mean, the interesting thing is Nat played this hand pretty straightforward. J-Mac, I think, was in a situation where, you know, he didn't think Nat was repping much because, you know, man, most players aren't raising right away with a set on such a dry board.
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they're gonna drag you along.
Right,
Yeah,
they're going to slow
drag you
play
along.
the hand a little bit. And I think that's what confused J-Mac. The problem is J-Mac can't even beat a board for it.
Yeah. I mean,
He
J-Mac's
can
only
beat
hope point
4-5.
in this pot is, I mean, this is a no-win scenario for J-Mac right here. All in, I think we got an all-in here.
Yeah,
I believe
there's
players
the all-in. J-Mac can literally beat 4-5 and that's it.
Yeah, no, J-Mac's just gonna posture fold. You know.
Hey, what was the call on the turn for that?
I don't know. Was he gonna fly heist? You can't even put him on hearts, even if you're gonna try to represent like hearts getting there or maybe a straight getting there. I don't know. It's tough.
Right, because once, I mean, when your opponent only has 900 and bets 300 on the turn,
Yeah.
the pot's just too big. There's not enough maneuverability to then kind of like bluff the river. Like even if Nat bet like 350 on the river,
Well,
your
it's like
shov's
we were
not
talking
enough.
We were talking about earlier, right? A victim of your own pot size. You're like, now there's just too much in there to get me away. Boom. You know. Wow. What? I'm really confused. We got a call.
Yeah, this is this is a situation. He's going to call this. This is a situation of. This is a situation of. I am going to put you on the one hand I can beat, which is 4-5. Now 4-5 is the only draw, so you start taking up hands that your opponent might have.
And thinking, can I make the hero call right here? Can I really call an ace high and scoop this pot?
Well, if you're J-Mac, and I'm trying to like just play devil's advocate and try to explain it from his perspective. If you're J-Mac and you're thinking my opponent's never raising the flop with a set, he's also probably not raising with like 8-9, something like that. If you don't think he's raising with like those medium pairs and he doesn't raise with sets, it's hard to put him on a value hand.
Yeah.
That said,
Chips on 11,
I
please.
think clearly J-Mac kind of painted himself into the corner where he just convinced himself, dude's got 4-5.
Yeah.
And
I can beat that.
situation where he wanted to look like a hero.
Well, guys, if you found that entertaining, make sure you vote because right now we are voting for most entertaining player from 7:30 to 8 p.m.
And give Nat credit. He played the hand straightforward, and by playing it straightforward, he tricked his opponent into calling all 3 straights. I'm assuming, and I don't know this, maybe you know, J-Mac and Nate have and Nat have history.
I'm not sure. I
mean,
don't
must,
know.
right? Based on that hand?
I honestly, they have to, based on that hand, right?
I mean, that was a C-bet on the button with ace-5. Fine.
Yeah.
Then a check raise. The funny thing is, if J-Mac had like then re-raised him all in,
Yeah.
or re-raised big, I can understand it.
Yeah.
But to call,
But just call
and then
it, call it,
and then call.
But just flat calling now with air on the river, that's a little rough too. Even if you're calling on the turn to make a move on the river.
Can you imagine if Nat like had like just ace jack, and he was bluffing?
Oh god, you still call it and still lose?
Right.
You're like, here you go.
Nat has flopped the gut shot to Broadway. Mad Russian with top pair. J-Mac open-ended, and J-Mac has reloaded. Has 1500 in front of him now. Huck's obviously not going to like that flop at all. Huck's wearing the visor in seat number 9, just to the right of the dealer, wearing the black sweatshirt. He does fold. Mad Russian bets 125. This game is playing huge.
And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get crazier.
I mean, this game is playing enormous.
I mean, we've already seen $600 air balls called with ace high. I mean, it's only going to get crazier, guys.
but I mean, every bet is like pot, pot, pot.
Yeah.
So Mad Russian bets 125. J-Mac calls. Now Nat's actually got, well, if he had the ace of diamonds, I would like to call a lot more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think this is a little bit pricey, but he might want to go for it. And by the way, if a 10 comes off, he's going to get paid.
He's gonna get away. You know, Nat says, whatever, man, I'm busy stacking my chips right now. I don't want to be involved in this spot. Oh, and J-Mac gets it, nails it right there.
Yeah, now this is exactly what J-Mac wants.
Of course.
He just lost a huge pot. It looks like he's on tilt. Plus, it's not. Had it been the 9 of diamonds, maybe Mad Russian gets away from it.
And Mad Russian, he doesn't hate this card. This still opens up his hand to a redraw straight.
Right.
You know?
The 9 of diamonds you hate a lot more because the obvious draw,
Yeah.
which is the diamond draw.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of players just see the flushes more than they see straights. And just a question of, does J-Mac raise right now, or does he just call? Pot is already $602.
And it looks like up at the top in our outs, guys, we have one queen as an out because I believe that we are calculating the mucked queens as well. So we literally have one queen here to a draw.
Yeah. So that 1% is actually not even 1%.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, and J-Mac's going to raise. And this is an interesting raise. I always point out, you always point out, I did a Crush Live Poker video a few weeks ago on, what is your opponent trying to accomplish? And sometimes if you can figure out what your opponent's trying to accomplish, you can often figure out how the hand's playing out. Now in this particular spot, J-Mac's raise on the turn doesn't look like he's trying to get your opponent to fold.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, that's not what it looks like.
No, not at all. Not at all. It looks like you're trying to get a call.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, good players obviously will disguise what they're trying
distort
to
that,
accomplish,
absolutely.
and make it very difficult for you to continue on.
This could be fun. So obviously the river pairs the board. It turns your nuts into, I might not have the nuts if he had 2 pair. Caught up.
It turns 23-year-old nuts into 79-year-old
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, it's kind of scary now. Because it's very plausible that Mad Russian could have had a hand like King Jack. The check there. Well,
Oh, you're talking about Queen 10's the nuts here, dude. Come on.
No, I know. I'm just saying. But, for Mad Russian, he checks in. I mean,
J-Mac
this
is
is all on
J-Mac,
J-Mac right
he's-
here. Oh, he's all in.
Yeah, he's fist pumping getting it in. Now the problem is here is, if you're Mad Russian, King 10 is just a bluff catcher. We know that.
Exactly, that's
the problem
all it
is we just saw J-Mac call off $1,400.
Yeah.
We know he might be tilting now. We know he's a crazy
and that
player.
image could really help him out. And I don't know, when he called that, he didn't show the ace high, did he? I don't think he showed he called it down with ace high earlier with the set of deuces. I don't think he showed that, because if he showed that, it would have given him much more value here to the Russian be like, okay,
Either way.
super steaming. Yeah,
Right. Either way, you're looking at it going, he just called down a check raise, a turn bet of $300, and then $700 on the
all in.
river.
Yeah.
So, regardless of what he had, and the table probably assumes that he had like jacks
Yeah.
or something along those lines.
Something way bigger than ace 5, that's for sure.
Right. Anyway, though, if I'm at this table, it's a really tough spot if I'm Mad Russian, because I'm going, well, I already know J-Mac's crazy. And he's tilting.
And we're still sticking by what I said earlier, right? Not afraid to put chips in the pot, but hopes to come back with interest. And boom, there it is.
He calls, and J-Mac gets it all back.
Yep. I can only read the future about once a month, so that was my one future read for J-Mac so far. We'll see how it plays out.
And that's, I think, a lot of amateurs, and I'm not suggesting that Mad Russian is, but I'm saying a lot of amateurs have the problem when they're playing against a player like J-Mac. they often guess incorrectly. Yeah, does J-Mac give you a lot of action? Does he bluff a lot? Does he do certain things? Yes. But you see players like that crush these tournaments. And
Chips
stuff like
on
that.
11, please.
More often than not, when they turn when the cards go on their backs, they've got it.
Yeah, and I think that like just like this, we're going to see a lot of these huge pots tonight. Like, this is just going to be. I mean, there's J-Mac right back up to 3K, tie with Yoda for chip lead right now. I mean, this is going to be.
Now I know he's in for. I'm trying to think. So he's in 2,300 in the beginning.
510.
And he rebought for about 1,000, so he's probably really close to even. Maybe he's down $300 from the start, but super close.
Mad Russian got some cash on the table. He's rebuying.
Yeah. Now, by the way, if any of these players decide to get up and not play anymore, they are still eligible to win.
Absolutely.
If they have accumulated enough votes from the previous categories, but they will not be included in the categories going forward if they're not at the table. Once again, this latest category, we have 14 minutes left in category number 2, which is voting for the most entertaining player. And at this point, hard not to say J-Mac has been the most entertaining player.
Oh, very entertaining. I mean, every pot he's in, it's almost like a nail biter. Like, is this really going down like this? Is this really going to happen?
I still don't quite understand the call down with Ace 5.
Yeah, that was
bizarre.
I mean, and honestly, I might. Let's see here. Oh yeah, honestly, that's for me. That's gonna be the next category. Player who gambles the most, biggest action player. I think. I don't know how you can't go J-Mac in that one. To be honest.
Well, it could be the Russians. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Remember the Russians shoved all in with the 6-3 of clubs.
Yeah.
Now, Nat, by the way, self-proclaimed most aggressive and most feared player in Sacramento, outside of the Penny Saver. But so far from what we've seen from Nat, that's not true. He's not even the second most
No.
aggressive player at this table right now. Now, if you were playing at this table, are you more interested in winning money, or are you more interested in winning the votes of the viewers?
You know, I think it's a healthy combination of both. I mean, obviously, I want all the votes. I really want a seat in that final Stone Survivor table. But at the same time, I'm not going to just give away my chips to do it. Especially, let's say you donk off, $500, $1,000, a couple $1,000, and then you don't get the seat. Well, then it hurts even more. So really, it's a healthy combination of both. I think these players are playing first and foremost to win the cash. And then the seed would just be kind of like a byproduct of that, hopefully, I think is what they're thinking. These Popeye muscles are cracking me up. I feel like he ate cans of spinach in the wrong areas.
Yeah. Apparently his elbows are really big. So Nat bets 145. Yoda really can only beat a bluff right now, but it's a pretty wet board. When I say wet, I mean draw heavy.
Yeah.
Board pairs.
I feel like there's some action boards out there too, man. There's no easy just straight all the way down. Except for maybe that set of deuces.
Now Yoda's kicker does not play, and it goes check. Nat gives up, and Yoda's going to win that one. Once again, Justin Kelly, aka Fat Train, David Tuckman, thanks so much for joining us. By the way, the third Wednesday of every month, you can watch, if you want to, a Veronica and Friends poker show. So it's Veronica and I call bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no way Veronica's got 8 friends.
No, that's total crap.
Right, there's just no way she has 8 friends.
No, it's more like Veronica and Prisoners that they just like lured in here because they owed favors to or something. It's,
right, or 8 people that want Veronica's money.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is...
We all tried to get on the Friends show, and she's like, well, you're not my friend. And if we're not her friends, then she definitely doesn't have 8 friends.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know. Yoda picks up kings. So after winning that with ace-9, he picks up king. Yoda quietly at $3,200. Again, this is not a tournament, so players can get up whenever they want to. Yoda's kind of at an interesting spot. I mean, I think Yoda actually has to play a little bit snugger than most at this table because of his player on the left. He's got a tough player on his left who's going to put him to the test, and also he's got a player on his left who has chips.
Absolutely. And I agree 100%, because we've all been in that situation where, you might want to make certain moves or certain plays, but you know that right next to you, you just have that crazy player with a lot of chips who's not afraid to put him in there, and you never know what he's going to do.
Raise. 100 total.
So it looks like
Steve K raises, Yoda 3 bets. I think Steve K, depending on how deep he is, he can call this. The problem is he's only $621. I'm probably folding this. I'm just not deep enough. Now, if you had 1,500, 2,000 in front of you, you love calling this 3-bet because you're in position. And if you think Yoda's 3-bet range is, dominated by big pairs, if the flop comes out, something like Jack 5-5 or Jack 7-5, you could theoretically win a huge pot.
Exactly.
I just don't think Steve K is deep enough to call profitably.
No, he doesn't have a large enough stack to really play back at Yoda in any way. And this is kind of where we're going to come in here. If he had a bigger stack, or he was playing like
He could float
J-Mac,
once.
yeah, maybe he could float once, or maybe he could fire back and see where he's at, because he could blow Yoda off these with the board, with the ace. He could blow him off. It's not, and that might be what he's going for. He was going to flat. He's going to float one. Oh, that's going to not help his odds though. With king on the turn, Yoda picks up a set.
Yeah. Yoda checks. Oh, what a river!
Oh gosh, this is action river here. This is going to get some money in the pot.
River.
We might be saying bye to some of Steve K's chips here.
Now, this is an interesting spot. In a 3-bet pot, are you always raising if you're Steve K?
Well, it's funny, they both check the turn, too. And it's not like I can think that...
Well, Steve K could have aces.
Yeah,
He could have
yeah.
kings.
Uh-huh.
He could have ace-king. Now, the question really is, if you raise this, can you get called by worse? Because let's say
Can you get called by worse? Exactly.
I think you can get called by
Yeah.
ace-king.
But you definitely I think you get called by ace king from
And if
you.
you're going to get called by ace-king, you probably have to move all in. Now you realize that if somehow Yoda, for whatever reason, you wouldn't normally think he would, if Yoda had queens or jacks here, you wouldn't think he'd be betting, but some players do, and
Yeah.
you're obviously not going to get called if you raise at 7-5.
Yeah.
Then he is going to move all in, I believe.
Yeah.
I think this is just an unfortunate situation where you
Yeah.
probably have to move all in. He's going to raise here, Yoda moves all in. Now, if you raise the 310 and then Yoda moves all in, could you ever fold for your last like $200?
No, and that's the thing is, I mean, the only way he can get away from that is if he has a huge deep stack that he has a lot to lose and really puts him on a monster. But this, it's in there. You just say, here it is. I hope you don't have it. Oh, you have it. Okay, rebuy. I mean,
If they were 3K deep, I would actually love like $160 bet from Yoda. Maybe you raise it to 425 if you're Steve, and then when Yoda 3-bets you,
yeah.
then you got to
you get away. Yeah, and that would be grateful. Grateful by Steve. But like you said, he doesn't. His stack doesn't allow him to really get away from this pot.
I don't think so. I mean, I'll just ask you this though: is Yoda ever is he ever checking turn, then betting river, and then 3-betting all in with ace king?
And that's the thing is that it's the check turn. Okay, I can see you both check the turn. That's fine. I can believe a bet on the river. That's fine. But once you 3-bet on the river, then you're turning your hand face up. You're like, I have a monster. Clearly, I have a monster. I was trapping you on the turn. You didn't fire. Pay me.
Now, by the way, you and I touched on the fact that to profitably call in spots like that, you want to be deeper.
Yeah.
Because A, it's really hard to make a hand. And you want to, when you make your hand, you want to get paid off.
Maximum value.
But there's also the issue of there are going to be times when you make your hands and you have tremendous reverse implied odds, just as in this case where he flops a pair, river is trips, but his opponent is a full house, and he loses his whole stack. Or let's say that flop came out ace 7-5. Yeah, he's going to win the pot, but is he really going to make any money? His opponent has kings.
Exactly.
Like a lot of things have to fall in line for you to make money.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I mean, I hear all players all the time, oh, just give me aces, or oh, just give me king. You know what? Just give me the nut to the second nut, right? It doesn't actually necessarily matter what the hands are. You just need something that can get paid.
By the way, Angry Polak, Veronica Brill is in the chat room.
Joining us. She took kindly to my Veronica and Prisoners comment earlier. She called it the VAP now, so the VAF.
She has such a crush on me. It's almost...
I know. I was going to say something,
It's
but...
awkward.
Yeah.
It's really awkward at this point, and
I heard him calling off the board the other night.
One day, hopefully, she gets over it, though.
Yeah, I mean, she's married to a great guy.
Yeah,
I'm married to a
you're
great
married.
girl, and it's like it's getting awkward. Okay?
That's why she didn't invite you to the Veronica and Friends game.
Yeah, no, I mean, J-Mac raising with the 8s, low calls. Not necessarily a flop you like if you're J-Mac. But he's going to put a little bet out there, and Lowe's going to fold.
That 25.
Once again, thanks so much for spending your Saturday night with us. Just 6 minutes left in category number 2. Vote for the most entertaining player. Has there been much table talk?
Not too much.
I haven't seen anybody mouths.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
No mouths moving.
Yeah. Nothing crazy right now. But, I think right now we're sitting, well, let's see, 7-handed, right? Because our guy right
Yes.
there is taking a break. I mean, that's some good odds to advance to the final tournament here.
Yeah, you're loving this.
I mean, I love it. You're loving it. The less players, the better, right? The less people you have to beat to really get a seed.
The one category I was pushing Justin to add, and he hasn't done it yet, is I'd like to see a player you think will perform the best
Absolutely.
in the main event. Of the
Yeah.
Olympics.
Especially since they're representing Stones, they're representing Northern California. I mean, we all,
can best
whoever the
represent-
player is, we want you to go far. We want you to go deep. We want you to go good. So yeah, so who
Chips
do you think's
on
gonna go
11,
best?
please.
Well, that's the whole point of these
And like
games.
Hot Dog's a great tournament player. I think Hot Dog would have an excellent chance. I mean, I see him in every tournament here. He's just always in it. He's always final table in it. He's going deep in these tournaments. I think he'd have a great chance.
Jack high flop, Jack 10-9. Two hearts out there. Whoever bets is going to win this one.
Player check.
Yoda picks up a little. It doesn't matter. Gutter ball straight draw, but the 8 completes everything for everybody. So.
Bet 100.
Nat's going to bet with 3 high, and it's going to work. I don't know what Nat is representing because he checked back the turn, the flop. Now you could check back hands like ace 10. You know, hands that are like you have a piece of it but don't want to get check raised.
Exactly. Yeah, I just want to see what's up. And then okay. So speaking of check raise, it's funny how, and we've all been in a situation where you think about checking, but instead you decide to bet and you open the floodgates because then there's a huge re-raise or a huge 3-bet after the fact, and you're like, shit, I could have just checked. I could have seen the next card. I could have actually made my hand or got I picked up more of a draw, and so that's interesting. Sometimes you don't want to open the floodgates. You'd rather just check and see what happens.
Now you mentioned Hot Dog being a good tournament player. 8 grandchildren, number 9 on the way.
That's impressive.
Why?
Just that's a lot. That's I think last time I think Justin made the comment, and he only has one daughter. That's the most
that's what I
impressive
said,
part. She's been busy.
She keeps really busy. I mean, there are things I'm impressed with in life, but I mean, not that. I mean, I think it's great that you have 9 grandchildren.
Yeah.
And if the fact that he's probably an awesome grandfather,
Yeah.
that's impressive. Oh, look at a spade over spade. Oh, and what a flop for J-Mac. J-Mac could get busy on this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, J-Mac's got a gut shot. Oh, now he's open-ended with the spades. No money went on the flop. Amazing between J-Mac. J-Mac did not put any money in there. He's going to bet here.
And now he's oh god.
Puck's actually, he checked back ace-5 spades. Certainly not going to fold, and if a spade comes off, J-Mac looking for 10, a 5, a 7, or an 8, and there's the 8 of diamonds. As long as it's not a spade, he was okay. So he makes a pair. I don't really know what Hux is repping here. When he checks back the flop and then calls turn,
And I think J-Mac's thinking about it right here. Like, what are you repping? I mean, you can kind of see it in his face.
Jack
He's like,
10,
"Eh,
Jack
yeah."
10 could be a hand. I'm trying to think, like a lot of players would bet Jack 10, but maybe Hux is the type of player that's not betting unless he has something. So he calls with an open-ended straight draw and then he gets there.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's funny. I feel like J-Mac is almost thinking more about this pot than some of the previous ones. I mean, even though it's only the $200, he's really kind of replaying his hand.
Well, you don't think, I mean, when Hux bets 200 and 212, it's a pretty polarizing bet. He pretty much has, like, if I was in J-Mac's spot, I would probably be thinking, this guy's got like Jack 10 or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm totally with you on 10 Jack.
Especially since we haven't seen Hux play a hand. The problem is Jack 10 actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
Good to see Steve K. He reloads for $1,000. More money on the table. More money, more money, more money. By the way, I like your t-shirt. I'm a t-shirt guy. I love t-shirts. That's a cool t-shirt.
Thank you.
A little shout out to the Flyers game. If anybody's going to the Philadelphia Flyers game, oh, there's a call.
He does. He gets it in. He's gonna take it down.
He calls with ace high. He calls with pair of eights.
Yeah. There's range for you.
By the way, mental note: don't bluff J-Mac.
No, do not. Don't even think about it. Back to Hot Dog, we were talking about the bios earlier. Hot Dog, they actually also call him the garbage man because he is actually a garbage man and he cleans up at the table. His self-proclaimed statement.
Okay, so Hux, by the way, got 46 out of a possible 60 points. First started playing poker in the year 2000 when the Limelight on Alhambra only had 2 tables. Okay, Gain further experience at Lucky Derby playing no-limit tournaments with $30 buy-ins. Laughing out loud.
Yeah, yeah.
I love poker for the
Chips
fun, challenge,
on
and
11,
competitiveness
please.
of all the players. Poker is the greatest equalizer of all sports because you can be male, female, tall, short. You can't be short. And the game will always be played on an even playing field. The only thing that matters is how well you play your cards.
Dave, 15 total.
Okay. Got 46 out of 60 points.
All right, Nat's gonna pop in a raise here at 15.
Come back over.
And Hot Dog's out of there. Yoda's getting out of there. J-Max out of there.
Were you voting for these bios?
I did. I did vote for the bios.
Listen, I like Hux. He seems like a really great guy.
Yeah.
I know.
Nice. Oh, here with 9-10. Steve picks up a gut shot straight draw. Nat with a bottom pair here.
I'm not entirely enthralled by this bio though.
Yeah. Oh, Huck's bio?
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I don't want to sugarcoat it.
Help him write that bio. You're the one with the journalism background, man. You know he's available to help you write a good bio to get you into this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just put it. I just read Huck's bio. If that bio got him in, congratulations to him.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering how to get in, dude, write a bio. It's
Well,
not
for
hard.
me, last week I actually knew the Asian Ryan Gosling. And when I was voting for bios, I read his bio and I was laughing. I could not stop laughing. He said, I'm the Asian Ryan Gosling, I'm the 4th funniest person you know. And he just started going off. Voted for him. Justin tells me after the fact, oh, you actually know him. Realized it was a guy I know, friend, went to high school with him. Thought it was hilarious. I was
Oh,
just
so
like,
you are. It's all anonymous.
yeah, exactly. We don't know. And in fact, Justin will go through and what he'll do is he'll actually pick out pieces where we can figure it out. If somebody says, oh, I placed 50th in the World Series of Poker main event 2000 whatever, where we can easily look that up, he'll star all that out.
I
so we
made
don't
out
know.
with you last Friday.
Yeah,
night.
exactly. Well, that's pretty obvious. Well, yeah.
Right, we eliminate that.
Yeah.
I'm the person you keep asking out, and I keep saying no.
Yeah. Who does Veronica have a crush on? Like, we get it. We know.
Right. It's weird,
Okay.
but no, so it is anonymous. Okay, that's interesting. We don't know what Yoda has, but he's raised to 25 from the cutoff seat. Yoda, of course, wearing the Raiders shirt, the LA Dodgers hat, and has the muscle-bound elbows.
It's a very distinct look.
Yeah, by the way, if you were just joining us, this is Stone's Lot Survivor Series, Justin Kelly, David Tuckman. The green chips you see on the table, those are $25 chips. The orange chips are $5.
All right, guys, and we are now in the next category. So for the next 30 minutes, we are flying, guys. The next category is the biggest action player and/or the player who gambles the most. So place your bets, place your votes, gamble a bit with us, and let's see what's up.
right now, it's hard to go against Mad Russian or J-Mac.
I would say those are easily the top 2 contenders for this category.
Yeah.
Call my head.
Those muscle pound arms just crack me up every time. I just think of him versus Jake from last week.
We don't know what Yoda has. The fact that Yoda is calling would be indicative that he has the best hand, especially since Nat has the ace of hearts in his hand. So Yoda can't have like the nut flush draw. And there it is, King 9.
Canadian full house, 3 pair.
Yeah, so he raising the cutoff with King 9 suited. If you're new to Hold'em, by the way, welcome. If you've stumbled upon us on Twitch, I know a lot of e-gamers, esports guys might have stumbled here and wondering what the hell this poker is about. No Limit Hold'em, very simple game. It's your best 5 cards out of the 7. So 3 pair don't count. So it's Kings and Jacks in the other spot with a 9 kicker.
Yeah, I just like to mess with the new guys. They're like, I don't get it. Why didn't he win? He had more pairs than the other guy. No, Twitch is great. I'm really glad that we have the opportunity to do these fun streams these days, and really on a really high, nicely produced level. Twitch used to just be a few guys and the gamers and this and that. Now it's really evolved into this platform where everybody can really put on a great show, some high quality entertainment, and if you're into this, I mean, this is great. It doesn't get better than this. This is live action.
I think TwitchCon's in September down in San Diego. I will be going.
Sweet.
Kind of looking forward to that. Are you like one of those like Comic-Con guys?
No, but I would not mind going to one though. It's just the array of costumes, and it looked like it'd be a blast. Even if you're not like a huge comic book guy, it just looks like it'd be a blast.
Dude, I want to go. Have you seen some of the costumes those girls wear?
Trust me.
Yeah, I'm all over it.
Or lack of costumes.
Right.
They're like, check this out. I just cut this piece of foam, and I'm like, you look amazing.
Right, it's kind of like the EDC during Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Every summer I'm always at the World Series during Vegas, And obviously, hey, one of the lucky winner of the Stones Live Survivor Series will also be in Vegas for the main event.
Boom.
Courtesy of Stones Live, Stones Gambling Hall. But that EDC, you see some interesting outfits.
They're living in their own world. We're just kind of getting a glimpse of it.
I don't mind living in that world.
Yeah.
Or at least entering that world for a little bit.
Sure.
A lot
I'll
of
go
fun.
hang out.
J-Mac gonna open in the hijack. Hijack to the right of the button. Steve K is gonna call.
Call 25.
Now, if I'm Steve K, I think Steve K's actually got an interesting opportunity to be 3-betting a little bit more. So I think J-Mac is going to be opening fairly wide. And with hands that don't necessarily play that well in multi-way, which are like your non-suited aces.
Which is your ace 10.
Yeah, exactly. Ace 10, ace jack, even like a hand like ace 7, which, figures to be the best hand a lot. You can put a lot of pressure on J-Mac.
Yeah, and if he makes a nice 2-bet, 3-bet right there, low goes away on the button, then he's got position. So then he's automatically liking it.
Especially with Steve K's image. I mean, if he 3-bets this to $80,
They've only seen Steve K flip over trips. I mean, in the one pot he got stacked, right? It's a pretty tight, strong image right now.
for sure. Once again, we are voting for the biggest action player who gambles the most. By the way, category 6 is voting for the most disciplined player. And I'm going to go on a limb and say that's not J-Mac.
That is not
J-Mac or the
J-Mac.
Mad Russian better have this thing locked up if they want to win by that category.
For sure.
Nat gets there. He had the wheel draw.
So
And he gets there.
Pot's currently sitting at 235. He's going to fire out, looks like 200.
190? No, 200. Good call.
And the Mad Russian's going to sit here and think, my queen was good, is it still good? Can you really have the ace?
Here is for my
And the problem is he can't really be. I mean, his 9 doesn't play, but at the same time, I mean, Nat's if Nat just had a queen and doesn't have an ace in his hand, they are going to chop it up.
Oh, I was going to say, and the funny thing about the 9 not playing is the ace almost,
Nice laydown.
correctly folds. The ace almost could work against you, thinking, okay, well, cool, now my kicker's fine. Now I don't have kicker issues, and we're just going to chop.
But you don't generally want to. If my opponent bets pot on the river, I'm not a big fan of putting in money just hoping I'm getting it back.
Yeah. Movie Maker says the Mad Russian never folds. You have actually seen a fold now.
Hey, fold there.
When you talk about history, I mean, he easily makes that laydown against Nat, but him and J-Mac, like, he's like re-raising all in 9 times over, so that's hilarious. It's how you play differently against the different players and their styles. Right after that, Nat waking up with another big hand here.
He has picked up a huge hand after.
Maybe that's why he's the most feared player. He got one of those horseshoes we were talking about, and he's going to town.
We do have a luckiest player category. So Nat picks up kings in the button. King's going around, by the way. I feel like I've seen kings 4 times.
I think they're giving you like
All right, Lowe's going to get in there here. She's going to get in with 10. Lowe makes it 10, and
I assume this must be a straddle pot, right?
and Nat just calls on the button with 10. Bold strategy with kings. We're going to see. Now, this is one of those things where if you're going to play the hand like this, if you're going to play the hand like this, you also have to be very ready to just let it go. Interesting board for kings. This could pan out, or this could get ugly, but nope.
Yeah, by the way, Hot Dog did not straddle, so that was a min raise.
Min raise by Low. King's flat calls from the button. Checks now. 7 on the turn.
I understand playing the hand tricky, and I have no problem with that. But
I'm honestly surprised when they check to him on the button on the flop. I don't know how you don't fire there with kings. At least, even if you're playing it like that, you have to at least throw something out.
Well, you can get a lot of value from more. So you can get value from heart draws. You can get value from Jack 10. Jack 9 obviously isn't going anywhere. Queen Jack. And kings are going to hold up. Amazingly. Going back to pre-flop play, I'm surprised Nat decided to play this hand tricky in the sense.
Min raising in the cutoff.
Yeah, he does have the Mad Russian behind him, and maybe he was hoping the Mad Russian would take the bait and 3-bet.
Well, this game has been playing there's almost been a raise every time pre-flop. So I wouldn't have been surprised if he was maybe just limping there to see if, like you said, the Mad Rusher was going to get tricky and do a big pop, especially to a small min-raise from Loretta, right? I mean, he might just say, let's get some real money in there. Let's bet, let's bet 50, let's go 60, and that's great because you get 1 or 2 people to call that. Then it gets back to Nat, and he can just go crazy and pick that up pre-flop.
I mean, hey, in all fairness, I might have taken, if I was Hux, I might have taken the bait.
Yeah.
You get a $10, you get a, basically let's call it what it is. It's a BS raise to $10 with what is almost always a garbage hand and not a real raising hand because she's not doing that with like jacks.
Yeah, no way.
So, and then when you get a call and a call on the button, a call on the button, a call on the small blind, you dismiss. You don't really think that either one of those players has a big hand either.
Yeah.
If I had ace-5 in the big blinds,
I heard a couple players, like when he flipped over kings, a couple players went, wow.
Yeah.
Just wow.
I might, if I have ace-5 in the big blind and I have Hux's image, I might 3-bet that.
Oh yeah.
And just be like, cool, you know what, I'll pick up the $40.
Yeah.
Yoda now to 4,000, J-Mac up to 3,800.
Yoda's been on a steady climb.
By the way, your prediction just spot on. J-Mac's
with
going to
J-Mac?
give it away. He's going to give it all away and then get it all back with interest, which is exactly what
He
happened.
just puts it out like this poker interest-bearing account, and it just comes back with friends. All right, 10 minutes through this voting round, guys. You got about 20 minutes left here to vote on the biggest action player, the player who gambles the most. Pick your favorite, pick them twice, pick them 3 times.
By the way, if you didn't get a chance to watch it last week, I was here last week. I'll be here again on May 14th. But we will be here at Stone Survivor Series every Saturday through June 18th. So make sure you tune in on Saturday nights. But if you miss any of the shows because you have a life and you want to go out on a Saturday night, which is understandable.
Just don't let it happen more than once.
Right, you can always go back and watch the old ones. Last week was a lot of fun. We worked with Veronica in the booth, and then we got a special treat when Lon McCarran, the voice of the World Series of Poker, came in the booth. I thought he was going to come in for 10 minutes and just say hi.
No way.
He was in here for like an hour and a half.
Rad. No, he came in and he just set up shop. He had a little barbecue here. They were hanging out.
It was great. A lot of fun working with him. A lot of respect for that man.
Raised to Yoda, raised by Yoda here to 20, 8-9 suited. Looks like Nat's gonna call it. I'm sorry, Nat's actually gonna re-raise to 100.
I gotta see myself first. Yeah, then we'll see in like 5 minutes. Might as well show now.
And Yoda gets out of there.
7?
6-7. He wants some of that action player title right there. I don't know though. J-Mac and the Russian have a lot of action in them.
If you call, then I gotta look.
You know, we're just a little over an hour into the live stream, and we've already seen so much. There's already been just all sorts of action pots, all sorts of stone cold bluffs, re-raises, ace-high call downs. And I think it's only going to get crazier. I'm kind of excited.
This is one of the most insane 2-5 games I've ever seen in my life.
I love it. Oh, it's funny. People come here and they say, "Oh, I'm going to play the 1-3 or whatever," and I don't think people understand that these 1-3 and these 2-5 games are way bigger than 1-3 and 2-5 traditionally plays anywhere in any other casino.
Well, you can't. I mean, I've always maintained you don't judge a game by what the blinds are. You judge a game by how deep each player is.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, there are famous games. I mean, I think the Golden Nugget in Vegas still has a 1-2 game that's uncapped.
Oh wow.
So there have been situations where guys have bought in for 20K. So that game certainly doesn't play like a 1-2 game. It's going to play bigger.
Yeah.
So this game's got more money on it than most 5-10 games.
Yeah.
I believe 6 is in the lead right now. And by the way, if you're new to this broadcast, you can see in the bottom left corner of your screen, you can see what position the players are in. You can see how often they will win the pot if it goes to showdown. So J-Mac now at 78%, Hot Dog with 6%, Mad Russian with 16%. You can see their stack size, and that's how many chips they have left behind after their betting. So Hot Dog with another 2,200 behind, J-Mac with 3,700, Mad Russian with 2,400 as we continue to roll along. Mad Russian. I think Hot Dog's going to fold the 5s. He's in a tough spot because he's got J-Mac behind him. No.
Oh wow, no, non-believer.
And I think that's going to get J-Mac to fold.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it would have been one of the way. Like if Hot Dog goes away, maybe J-Mac calls, right? Vice versa.
The Hot Dog, who actually had the least amount of equity, you can start to see now he had 84% once he gets J-Mac to fold.
Yeah, Pot sitting at 600. Hot Dog first to act. And I think Hot Dog knows especially against Mad Russian, if he checks this, I think that's in trouble. Because Mad Russian's going to bet no matter what. I think you might try to bet and slow him down. No?
Now the interesting thing is, again, if you're Hot Dog, Mad Russian's, the way he's bet this, Mad Russian's basically got a queen, or a full house, or nothing.
And Hot Dog shows it. Folds it.
No, I think he calls.
Did he? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Nice call by
Nice
Hot Dog.
call.
That's a great
Absolutely
call.
nice call, yeah. And I think part of that could have to do with Mad Russian's table image. I mean, there's, again, action player. It's like, yeah, you either have the queen or you don't, you know?
Yeah, you always have to factor in the dynamics that are going on at the table. And if you're aware that we are in the third category, which is voting for the biggest action player. Once again, you guys at home can vote. The link is in the chat, so you can check that out. Just press on it. One vote per IP address for every 30 minutes. If you are aware that we are in the biggest action player, gambly player right now, do you maybe think, okay, these guys are going to be bluffing a little bit more? Maybe this is normally only a bluff 30% of the time, 20% of the time.
Yeah.
But maybe on this show, in this category, maybe he's bluffing 50% of the time.
Well, and I love it because it adds that extra element of thought, right? Okay, so I'm already thinking about this player, I'm thinking about his position, I'm thinking about his history, but now I have to add in a whole nother thing of, okay, well now he knows we're in this gambling category. Is he just trying to gamble? Is he trying to win this? And again, that goes back to, are you playing for the cash or are you playing for the votes? And that's kind of what you got to figure out against the other players.
Right. What is my opponent here? Is my opponent trying to win money, or is my opponent trying to win this contest?
Yeah.
And Hot Dog, correctly deduced that the Mad Russian is going to be gambling it up to try to win as many votes as he possibly can.
Absolutely.
And he felt like he was getting a decent price. I think he was getting about 3 to 1 on the river. So I mean, he only has to be right 1 in 4 times to make it to break even, basically.
So currently against Low here, she's got the check mark, and she's going to let it go. Mad Russian's going to play her out, and it's good. Low's been playing pretty snug, pretty tight. I mean, we saw, really not a lot of hands. We saw the min-raise earlier when Nat flatted behind her with kings, but really just Low's been kind of hanging out so far.
Yeah, she's going to have a tough time in this game. I mean, I think her opponents are just so aggressive, and first of all, she's not picking up hands, like you said.
Yeah.
But second of all, it doesn't seem like she's that confident putting in a lot of chips unless she has a really big hand.
Well, you're against these guys like J-Mac and Yoda and some of these other guys and Nat, that have in the Mad Russian that all are used to big stacks, big action, big craziness. And Low's just like, I'm a tournament grinder, man. I'm going to get there to the end, but I'm going to take my time. And these guys are they're firing every pot,
And I think if that's the case, by the way, I think you've got to tighten up your opening range.
Yeah.
If you are not comfortable, making big calls in marginal spots in this particular game, I think you've got to tighten up your opening range so you start hitting bigger hands. If you play Ace-9, you're going to flop a lot of second pairs.
Exactly. And unless you're going to go all the way through this, or really have solid sense of where you're at, and just go with it, go with your gut. Like you said, you got to tighten your range. You got to get up there. You got to get to the 8.
You mentioned the dealers here at Stones. They all do a great job. This particular one is fantastic. She is actually blind. Certified blind. She walked right into our domicile here.
Our domicile.
And then blamed us for having. She's like, you can't have this out. I walked into it.
For those of you who haven't seen this, we're actually in a clear plexiglass booth, and we just recently added a plexiglass door to it, and it was kind of partly open, and she pretty much walked into it and was like, "You should do something. You're going to hurt somebody," and that's actually part of the risk. That's part of the fun and the element of risk here.
Right. Now keep in mind this clear plexiglass door is really dirty.
So you can see it.
I mean, you basically have to be blind not to see it.
certifiably blind.
Yeah.
But we love Jen. We do love Jen.
I don't want to.
Queen Jack club's kind of hand that's going to flop well very often. Not necessarily on that flop though, Ace 5 Deuce Rainbow, but he turns a pair of queens. Don't know what Nat has. Once in a while, we do use RFID technology, which means basically there's a chip in the card, and there's a chip, basically a very, very short wave, and then a chip underneath the felt.
So you guys can see
New
the little,
technology.
the little diamond-looking logo in front of each player. That's where they leave their cards, and there's a little sensor under there. Sometimes they can get a little wicky-wacky. Sometimes the cards have to be spread out a little thicker. But normally we try to be pretty good on that, and we're always getting better. We're always improving things with the live stream. Like right now, actually, the live stream's in a little bit higher definition than it used to be over the past month or so. So always making improvements here.
Well, I think one of the reasons why it's in higher definition tonight is because you and I are in the booth.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When you get like Jake and Veronica, you really don't want to be in high def.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I wasn't just going to come out and say that, but I'm really glad you did.
I have no problem saying that. J-Mac makes running 2 pair. And he's going to check, and you wonder if he's going to check raise this or just call. I think it's probably just a check call, depending on the sizing. If Nat bets like maybe 100, maybe you can check raise. If he bets 200 or more, though, I think it's probably just a check call. It's going to be difficult to get value from worse,
Yeah.
I think, if you check raise.
Yeah, Pot's currently sitting at 415. I think he's maybe debating between maybe 200 or 300 here for the bet.
Yeah, it looks like your call is right.
Maybe
225?
Yeah, 2.25, something like that. 275? 275.
Yeah, and I think because of that sizing, this is only a call at best.
And I'd like to throw a shout out actually to the guys in the booth behind us. When you see things like 275 to call and all of these numbers and stuff, there's actually a team of guys in the audio video booth that are, I mean, literally, they have huge monitors and giant magnifying glasses, and they're literally zooming in on people's stacks, they're counting them, they're always updating current counts, live counts. I mean, this is not just something that magically happens and comes together.
Is Nat bluffing here? What do you think before we say it? Ace Jack? Looks like a little cooler there, right?
Oh, is it Ace Jack?
No.
Oh, Jack Queen, same hand.
Oh, okay. They both made
hand,
running.
same
They
hand.
both made running 2 pair. Well, I was gonna say I thought the flop went check, so it would be surprising. But I think Nat's a tricky enough player that he might occasionally check back Ace Jack.
Well, especially against somebody like J-Mac, where he's looking for J-Mac to bet, right?
Right.
Just looking to entice action. Because J-Mac's not afraid to stab at a pot with air.
Well, that's the
Absolutely.
weird thing. A lot of times you get a question, and I'm sure sometimes you get viewers will ask a question. They'll say, "Okay, flops Ace 5 Deuce. I have Ace Jack. Are you always betting?"
Yeah.
Depends who I'm playing against.
Absolutely. Depends on position, chip stacks, everybody else. I mean, there's so many factors. There's never a cut and dried answer to any
What's
given
my
question.
image? Who am I, how likely is my opponent going to bluff at? How many streets of value? How many streets of value can I get? And if I check it once, might that just, induce my opponent to spew?
And it's funny because me and Jake had touched base on this, I think, in one of our previous broadcasts, and Jake goes to his super canned answer, which is, it depends. That's always my answer, and you ask me a poker question, it depends.
Once again, thanks so much for joining us, guys. We are live here, Stones Live Survivor Series at Stones Gambling Hall, just outside Sacramento. David Tuckman, Justin Kelly, in the booth for you. Raised from Hux, $25. Under the gun +2.
Lowe's going to get involved here.
Kind of an interesting spot for her to call. Like, out of all the players to call.
Yeah.
Yes, Hux has not gotten involved
Honestly,
at all.
I think part of this is just Lowe's a little bored. She just wants to see a flop. She wants to get in there with a hand. She wants to, see if we can make something connect.
I also think defending the big blind in a tournament much more profitable than defending the big blind
This
in
is
a cash
very
game.
true.
Because there's no antes in the cash
Oh yeah,
game.
no, and everybody, and most of the time, most players, I mean, in a cash game that I'm with, if it comes down to the blinds, they almost always chop chop. I mean, you get a few players who go a little crazy outside of that, but yeah, it's.
But we see in a tournament, we see most good players defending that big blind pretty liberally.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons being is, first of all, everybody's opening size is much smaller than a cash game. People are opening it 2 times the big blind, 2.5 times the big blind. So, and there's antes in the middle. So suddenly you've got this, it's quite profitable.
It adds up quickly.
Right, it's quite profitable. You're actually getting like 4 or 5 to 1 to defend the big blinds, and if you check it, a lot of times you'll get a c-bet as well. In a cash game, though, there's no antes, and your opponents are a lot of times making it, 20. Like that open was to $25.
Yeah.
So he made it 5x, 5 times the big blind. You're just not getting the right price with a hand like Queen 7, especially against a player who isn't that active.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're already playing against somebody who's, you know, and they have you on chip too, so it's not, they can easily fire out right into you, and you're almost forced to make an all-in or fold decision.
King 9-6, 2 hearts out there. And 10's in the lead, Mad Russian with a pair of 9s. And this checks through, and bingo bango, 9-ball corner pocket, Mad Russian. Spikes trips on the turn. Not really the card you're looking for. You'd much rather the king pair than the 9 pair if you're Nat. And he's gonna bet $25. Mad Russian just calls. Pot's $112.
Oh, wow. 2 outer, nails it right there on the river, gives him a boat, Nat fills up.
I mean, the only way Mad Russian's really gonna lose money on this pot is if it comes out runner 9-10.
Yeah, that's literally it. I mean, and it happened.
Man.
So Mad Russian's gonna fire out, maybe looks like $1.50 into this pot, something like $1.25.
By the way, I'm gonna overbet this check raise. And the reason being is I feel like my opponent either has a missed draw, and then he's not gonna call any check raise.
Easily could have missed hearts. Easily could
Right,
have.
and but if you check raise huge, and I might even check raise like $1,000, I might
Yeah.
go crazy with it because I'm putting my opponent on one of two things. Either my opponent was slow playing a 9,
He called. He instantly called.
and he calls right, or he missed hearts,
Yeah.
or he missed like maybe 7-8. 7-8 actually would have got there anyway. I'm sorry, or like maybe some sort of like weird like Queen Jack or Jack 10 or something. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to come up with something that didn't get there. But Queen Jack got there, 7-8 got there. You beat all those hands. So I feel like a big portion, and I've completely garbled the statement, but I feel like a big portion of Mad Russian's betting range in the river is either missed hearts or actually a really big hand.
That's what I was gonna say. And if he has any sort of big hand, you're getting paid there every time. So that's why that's why there's great value in the overbet here, guys. Real quick, 4 minutes left on voting in this category. 4 minutes. Biggest action player who gambles the most. Make your choice. Get those votes in. You are literally responsible for sending one of these guys to a 1-9 seat in the World Series.
I like Kelly Dunks. I'm definitely shoving that river, and the reason being also is, you know, some players at home might be thinking, well, what does he just as a king know? You don't want to chase out that king, don't you want to get called? Think about it though. The pre-flop raiser had 10s. He bet. He checked the flop. Mad Russian did not bet, which to me makes me feel like he has a lot more 9s in his range.
Oh yeah, than the king. Yeah.
So I think, you know, maybe you're not shoving all in because they are really, really deep. But when he bets 150, I might make it 950.
And you're right. They are really deep, and that's why they're not shoving. If they weren't quite as deep, I could easily see a shove all in and a snap call. You know, something like that. I could easily see that going. But because they have large stacks, they're not necessarily trying to just push huge. You know, that's not going to be a $5,000 pot. You know.
Although keep in mind, I mean, if you're playing against the type of player if you don't think he can play a 9 or straight, go on.
Capitalize it. Yeah.
Go. You got the nuts. Pocket 10s there are basically the nuts.
We're going to call that the nuts.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, any hand that can actually, if he has quad 9s, that's again where you just say, nice hand, and you just keep I'll stack them for you. Here's
If you
your
slow
chins.
played pocket kings,
Yeah.
all the power to you, man. Mad Russian now raising to 90. One little thing we've seen from Mad Russian, he loses a pot, and the next pot or two, the next hand or two, he goes on immediate tilt.
Yeah.
And
Well, he goes on immediate raising, and the thing is, I think that people kind of pick up on that, and that could also be a great disguise, because if he does happen to pick up a good hand right after one of these pots where he obviously loses or shows trips, and I mean, it's a great disguise for him too.
keep in mind, though, we've now seen him do it with, now he 3-bet with Jack 10 earlier on, it was the 6-3 of clubs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, and that was a big hand with him and J-Mac. Yeah.
So, this is a guy
Wow,
who's,
that was some intense bet raise all in right there. On that hand.
yeah, for sure.
Under the gun, hot dog, queen 7 suited. He's going to get out of it. Yoda picks up queen 3 suited, definitely going to be in it.
I'm going to go on a limb, I'm going to say,
Once you guys switch to these
if you are playing on one of the next couple of weeks, and by the way, we've got, this is going on for many more weeks. Next week, 6-12 Limit Hold'em, a great opportunity for you to eventually win your 10K main event World Series of Poker seat. The week after that is a PLO. May 14th, we have 5-10 no limit. So each week is a different game, so it's a lot of fun. If you do get a seat, whether it be through playing enough hours here, winning our weekly tournaments, or your bio is creative and funny, I would suggest not getting seat 1 or seat 9.
Yeah.
I would fight tooth and nail to not get seat 1 or seat 9. I think Hot Dog likes seat 1,
Yeah,
but I think it
that's
does
like
him a
his seat.
disservice
Yeah.
in this particular format, simply because we don't see him as much. We see the guys in seat 4 and seat 6 and seat
Yeah.
8 a little bit more. And as I said, of course, you see this guy. No, but I mean, you realize that this shot here, only if player 1 or player 2 is in the hand, that's the only
That's
time
it,
you see Hot
yeah.
Dog. While Nat, we can see him if a
You
lot
can see
of
him there. You can see him in the camera angle before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're just a lot more familiar with that particular play. Mad Russian turns straight. It's going to bet, and nobody gets involved, and he gets out of it.
Guys, it's 8:30. You know what that means? It's
Bing, bing,
next
bing.
category time.
Ooh, this is my favorite one.
Talk to me. What are we doing?
We are voting for the most skilled player.
Ooh.
Now I'm going to put this to you guys at home.
Yeah.
Let's not be small-minded and just think, okay, who is the best player based on results tonight? Because let's not be results-oriented is what I'm trying to say.
Jake, you make Jake proud.
Right. As we watch this, who do we think is the best player? Who is the most skilled at this particular game? I don't want to influence and I don't want to say who I think, but maybe in 20 minutes I'll kind of put my 2 cents forward.
Exactly. And really, I mean, we haven't actually looked, me and you in here, we're busy, we haven't actually looked, because I know a lot of these players, as they vote, they can see the results of the previous votes as they unfold. We have no idea where these votes are at, so there could be one landslide player, we have no idea. No clue. And I kind of actually like it that way. It has a whole element of mystery. I'm kind of excited.
So once again, we are now voting for the most skilled player. You get 1 vote per IP address.
King 7-3 on the flop. Yoda King top. Jerry with their 7s.
Rally your friends.
I expect J-Mac to peel one off here. I mean, he's deep, he's in position, and this is something that I often look for when I'm trying to peel for 2 pair or trips. How likely is my second pair going to also help my opponent? So, for example, if I had Ace-7, I would actually be less likely.
Then with 7-8,
Right,
absolutely.
or if I had Queen-7, I'm less likely because if I hit my 2 pair, I don't know how much I love it.
Yeah, no, yeah, there you go. And I agree with you 100%. I mean, that's not going to help him.
Right, yeah. I mean, he had
still.
Kings and 7s, now he's got Kings and 8s.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you, though. I mean, if you think you have a tie card that would complete both of your guys' hands, then you're in trouble. You're automatically you're behind trying to get somewhere to pay somebody off. Like there's no value there.
You know, sometimes if you put your opponent on a draw, you know, straight draw, something like that, and your 2 pair would theoretically complete that, you've got to be, you got to be cautious in those scenarios.
Yeah.
But in this is a particular spot, though. J-Mac's in position, and he's going to make this call. He doesn't like the fold. I think
No.
that's the MO. Doesn't like the fold. He thinks everybody's bluffing. But I think this is a situation where I actually like calling the flop because, first of all, you could float, and you could actually have the best hand with a pair of 7s.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if a 7 rolls off or an 8 rolls off, you might be able to win a big pot.
Exactly. There's multiple ways you can go with that. I mean, even if you want to turn that hand into a semi-bluff, whatever. I agree with you, though. I don't like the idea of having a tie card with someone else.
Plastica says, I wonder if Yoda's muscles are a hot suit to wear. Though he is so skinny, it probably keeps him warm. Skinny people do get colder faster.
It's true. It's very true. Justin, our tournament director, says Hot Dog has 9 grandkids online right now with all their friends, untouchable. So if you guys are voting apparently voting for somebody that's not Hot Dog, I would call up your friends. I definitely get the votes in right now.
And I feel like it's almost unfair. You have 9 grandchildren. The grandchildren are probably like 6 or 7 years old. They're probably so tech savvy.
Yeah.
They figured out a way to have 84 IP addresses.
All of it.
So Hot Dog just crushing it.
You guys can hear some of that action actually going on in the background. Lots of live cash games here tonight, and they actually have a live band with some music here in the other room. So if you're bored, you're not doing anything, come on down. There's something for everybody here.
Nat with a top pair. Hot Dog with a flush draw on this Ace-8 deuce. 2 diamond board. Queen of spades in the turn. Hux has now picked up a Broadway draw. Nat's still the best of it. You can see 75% of the time he will win the pot, and that holds true here. A meaningless 8 of clubs in the river. Nat's 10 doesn't play, but his aces are good. Aces and 8s, dead man hand. Yeah, I mean, I say it each time I'm here. I am really impressed with this card room and the gambling hall as a whole. The restaurant's great. If you are within driving distance, come on down at 10 p.m. I'll be drinking. I'll even buy you a beer. Come on down and say hi.
I'm in. Same here. That means yeah, I'll buy a beer. So that means you get 2 free beers. Automatically, entrance to Stones comes with 2 free beers. Come on down.
Wow, that's a good deal.
I know. I want to come on.
Wow, this is a really interesting raise by Nat.
Flash is just the ace. How do you feel about that? You feel something about that?
I'm wondering if he's raising to get his opponent off of a chop. Because it's a really, I mean, the board was, what, ace 8 blank, queen 8. So, I mean, his kicker didn't play. He loses the trip 8s. I mean, I'm assuming he's trying to get a chop off, an ace or ace to fold.
No, he's literally just raising and just like, please fold. Because if you play back at me, I don't really want to even be part of this.
Oh yeah, if he plays back, he's done. I mean, frankly, if he gets called, he's done.
Yeah. And that's one of the
But
scenarios
if you get
where
called,
you're like,
you're at best chopping.
yeah, it's one of the scenarios where you're like,
I mean, it's an interesting play. It's, I mean, you are. I assume his thought process would be, and I try not to climb inside other people's heads because you don't know what they're thinking. But I would assume he's doing it to get his opponent off the chop.
yeah.
Mad Russian raising to 25.
Going to the flop. 10-10 ace right on the flop. Mad Russian with an inside straight draw to Broadway. Hux completely misses.
Yeah, Nat thinking to himself, where was that flop last hand?
Yeah, give me some of that.
How often do you flop a set, the hand after?
Oh,
you get
flop lag. Flop lag is notorious. The poker gods can be very cruel.
There are some nights where you just know you're like, I'm one flop off, and
Sometimes when you're completely missing everything, I like to say I couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat. Not even close to anything really. So Hux is going to need a 5 or 6 here, and no, we're going to the next hand here. Hux is going to bet, take it down. Mad Russian's going to fold.
By the way, on a non-poker related note, Bigger Bread Box says if I talk about Tuck's chest, will I get banned? No, in fact, you'd probably become a moderator.
You're
Talk
right.
about my chest all you want.
Exactly.
There you go, baby. You like that?
Normally he charges for that show, so you guys are lucky.
It's not lying.
I mean, it's not much. But he normally
And by
charges.
the way, we talked about awkward things earlier. I'm doing this shimmy with my chest. You did invite me to your house earlier.
I did. I didn't want that to get weird or be public knowledge, but thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there.
Jimmy Bluffett says, Stuckramento.
Stuckramento. Yeah, I am Stuckramento right now. I've done many a live stream where I have gone in the booth stuck.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it's the nature of the beast. You're playing poker and you could lose. So we get a raise and a 3-bet by J-Mac.
Battle of the pairs.
I kind of like J-Mac opening up his 3-bet range. I think a lot of players, especially in J-Mac's spot, where his 3-bet range is so polarized, and he's 3-betting so often that he's going to have a lot of bluffs.
Oh, absolutely.
Because a lot of guys are like, okay, well, I'll 3-bet with ace-king, I'll 3-bet with aces, I'll 3-bet with kings, and then I'll also 3-bet with, like, garbage sometimes, which we saw him do earlier. So to kind of balance that a little bit, he starts, stay with me here, he starts depolarizing his 3-bet range by including hands like 10s, 9s, hands that are not always 3-bet by a lot of players.
Oh, absolutely. No, and I think that's part of his shtick, I guess you could say, right? He's always changing gears. He really doesn't want you to know where he's at any given moment, and he's not afraid to really kind of play it differently every time.
I've been impressed by his play. I mean, frankly, even the call with ace-5, I like that his mind was that creative that he could think of like, okay, you know what? This doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna call. I think I probably would have rather raised there, but you got to respect the creativity. Now, if he
wow.
look at that turn.
All right.
Now it is a diamond.
It also completes a diamond draw. Gives a
and
redraw for
5-6.
J-Mac. Yeah.
5-6 gets there. Like, I mean, every draw got there, by the way.
Yeah.
So all the draws got there, and this might be a situation where it could, if I'm J-Mac, I think I'm just check calling. Turn. I don't think I can get away from it, especially against Mad Russian, but I don't want to you don't want to bet and then get raised off it, do you?
No, exactly. No, you
Especially
don't.
since you had the 10 of diamonds. You don't even hate if it goes check.
Yeah.
It doesn't kill you.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I mean, exactly. I mean, if you bet here, I think that you're almost going to get raised no matter what. Even if he has a set, even if he has a busted flush draw, if he has the flush, I think they're going to get raised, especially by somebody like the Mad Russian, almost no matter what here. So we'll see. I think J-Mac J-Mac already checked.
What do you think about a sexiest hair? Wow, all in by Mad Russian. This is a weird bet by him. It's like, because you
could only get called. It's like you're going to get called by a hand that beats you.
Although if you're in J-Mac's spot, you might be thinking, why is he just moving? Why did he just bet 1,000 into 800?
And this goes back into your
Does
thing.
he want to get?
He's trying to figure out where he's at, how he is playing this hand, what he's trying to accomplish.
Right. You mentioned it earlier on. I talked about what is your opponent trying to accomplish in this spot. If you're J-Mac and you're thinking, what is my opponent trying to accomplish? It looks like he's trying to get me to fold.
Yeah, I know. He's not trying to get me to call. I totally agree with you. I mean, he's almost
It doesn't look like it.
representing that.
I mean, he's by overbetting the pot, he's making his hand look a lot weaker than it actually is. Because would he do this with a flush?
I don't
Would he
think
do this with a set?
No, he'd want to get paid, right?
Well, that's what we think.
Yeah, no.
That's what we think. But look at him moving all in here. And J-Mac's got to decide, okay, does this guy have ace 5 with the ace of diamonds? Does this guy have ace 9? He does make the call, and there's the ace of diamonds.
And the diamond's going to get there. J-Mac's going to take it.
Wow.
Let's see some reactions here. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting here.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, let's stay on him.
He is not. Yeah. Oof. And still, my prediction holding true, man. I mean, he's not afraid to get it in there.
By the way, I'm such a masochist. I want the camera just fixated on the loser in the hands.
Oh, yeah, I just want to see the rest of just. He needs a break after that one. He needs a breather.
He might be done. I mean, remember, he already lost the buy-in. That was his second buy-in that he lost. J-Mac, by the way, now up to well over $4,000. He might have $5,000 in front of him. J-Mac had 11 outs going to the river. No, he had less than that because the 9 of diamonds was no good. It would have been a straight. So he had 10 outs. Could have caught a 10 or any diamond that was not the 9 outs. And look at that, 5,300 in front of him. So he goes from being down about 2,000 to probably being up about 2,000.
Done. Yeah, because you said I think he was in for what, about 3? Something like that?
33 maybe,
Yeah.
35. I mean, it's hard to know exactly, but somewhere in that range. J-Mac not only crushing the table, but if I have my way, and we add not only a category for who will perform the best in the main event, if we add a category of who has the sexiest hair,
Yeah, for sure.
I think J-Mac has got to be up there.
J-Mac's killing it in the hair department for sure.
From above, from that shot right there, J-Mac kind of, I feel like J-Mac is Saul.
Oh, yeah, from Better Call Saul?
A little bit.
Yeah.
From
no,
like above.
Yeah, no, I feel
if
you.
you look really quick.
I feel you right there, yeah. The quick glance.
And you're sort of blind.
You're sort of like, and he's even showing you actually know who that is.
And you've had a few drinks.
Steve's going to bet the flush draw, take it down. The other's got out of there, no contest.
Now keep in mind, the Russian still has a couple of bucks there, so maybe he's locked up that seat. Maybe he's going to go get more money.
I think he definitely, no matter what, I think he needed some fresh air after that.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, he flatted the flop, which I thought was on a 9-high flop, 9-4-3, 2-diamond board. He has 2 sevens. I think you got to flat against J-Mac. I mean, sevens are the best hand there just so often. Then he turns the 7, he overbets it, confuses J-Mac into calling.
Yeah, I know.
Where J-Mac only had about 20% equity.
Exactly.
It's J-Mac to put $1,000 in, and then unfortunately for Igor, for the Mad Russian.
And does that go back to victim of your own pot size thing from earlier? It's like, well, now there's so much money in there. What are you trying to get me to fold if you don't already have the flush?
No, I mean, let's call it what it is, though. I mean, the Mad Russian got J-Mac to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And J-Mac got lucky.
And it bit you in the ass.
Right. I mean, hey. I mean, as a poker player, if you play this game enough,
You want that up there.
right, and that's the part of the game where you've got to convince yourself that no, I want that.
Yeah.
That was good. It's hard because you go home and you're stuck $3,000. You're stuck a couple of buy-ins, and you're so upset because you lost. But you've got to convince yourself that no, I made money there.
Yeah.
In the long run, I'm making a ton of money there.
Yeah, and then you always have to analyze your own game, your own play. I mean, there's been plenty of times where, I've just taken a few really, really shitty beats, and you go home and you're like, God, this really sucks. I'm down. I'm kind of bummed, but I played really solid poker and just got extremely unlucky. There's times when that happens.
Now, without the Mad Russian at this table to kind of keep J-Mac in line, is he just going to open 50%?
I was going to ask, I mean, do you think he's just going to steamroll over and just see what happens? I mean, I feel like he could open every pot all the time.
Well, I mean, you think about it. Hot Dog's a pretty tight player. The other player at this table that's kind of playing a little bit is Yoda, but Yoda's on J-Mac's right, so you're in a great position if you're J-Mac. The player on his left, the two players on his left, which are Steve and Lowe, neither one really getting involved. Nat's a little bit aggressive, but we haven't seen that much. I mean,
yeah.
And Hux is kind of playing pretty close to the vest as well.
That feels like.
Now this is the crazy thing. If you are, I don't care if you play 10, 25 mil. Let's say you're just, you're a big time gambler, you're a big time poker player, you play big. Tell me another place where you can buy in for $5,400 in a 2-5 game.
That's what I mean. That's insane.
That's what you can do here.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
You can buy in
and
for
I've personally walked by and seen it. Somebody goes around and they'll eye all the stacks on the table, figure out what game they want to sit at just because they want to buy in for max bet. They want to buy in for max value and match somebody else's stack. I mean, that happens a lot.
Now, is this J-Mac's game, or is he putting on a little bit of a show with the camera?
I think it's a slight combination of both, but I'm not kidding you. I think a lot of this is just J-Mac being J-Mac. I mean, like I said, man, he's not afraid to just jam it in there, and he goes with his gut, right or wrong, and he gets the chips in there all the time.
And I assume, watching him play, and look at this, the Mad Russian's coming back for more. I would assume, he plays a very high variant style. What a flop here for J-Mac. Everything going his way.
Yeah, just killing
and
it.
you kind of feel like the 8 of clubs is going to come off on the turn, or a black king is
something to get him
or like
paid.
King of spades, just so you can get paid.
You are glutton for punishment. You're just looking for those straight rates right here.
Well, just the way J-Mac has been running, since the Queen 10 hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, we're about halfway through this voting period.
Oh, look at this. J-Mac
Of
has just
course.
turned.
Oh
Well,
God.
this is one of
It
those-
doesn't matter. You can't get paid, but still.
Right. This is
But
one of those
still.
rare things. He turns a straight flush. Unfortunately for him, he can't get any money out of it.
And,
he's just.
and I'll tell you what, nobody on the planet right now would believe that J-Mac is holding a straight flush. Like, nobody's like, he doesn't have 4 or 5 of hearts. No way. Is he going to show it? Let's see if he shows it. He's got to show this.
He's going to show. He has
He's
to
going to
show.
show. No, he's not just going to flash one. What's he going to do? Oh, he does show it. Yeah.
You can't get a straight flush and not show it.
I know, right?
And by the way, Joda is just thrilled he didn't have to pay no hutches yet.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine him.
Here you go. Here's all your money. Absolutely. And again, guys, back to the voting. Get your votes in. 13 minutes left in this period. Vote for the most skilled player. I love it. Everybody in the chat room shouting, "Show it, show it, do it." The link to vote, the guys, we're gonna post the link to vote for you right here.
Open up your chips on 11.
Right, and Yoda's going to bring back here. 9-5 suited for Yoda. Lux had raised to 20. Yoda calls. J-Mac got out of there. Steve's in there. Steve's with pocket 4s. We're going to a flop. Ace-Jack 10. We don't know what Hux has. Yoda doesn't have much. Steve right now with the best hand from what we can see with pair 4s.
Talks about 75. And this one's going to get through.
Mystery hand, bet it and win it. Poker's easy, just bet and win, right? It's easy, everybody can do it.
You love it.
Come on down. I'm actually kind of stoked. We were talking about the Survivor Series. The 6-12 limit hold'em, that'll be fun to watch. I think we're going to get some fun play. And that's like a fun limit. It's not like a 4-8. It's not, it's like there's something to be lost there, something to be gained there. It's like a decent, fun little limit. And I think the player pool that we're going to have in that game is going to be completely different than the players. I mean, I don't really see a lot of 2-5 play, like 2-5 no limit players, 5-10 no limit players necessarily hopping in the 6-12 limit game. So I think it's going to be some fresh faces in there, some different kind of action we're not used to. So definitely tune in next week as well.
Low getting a supportive hug from a friend.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming they're friends.
That's it. Hopefully. I was
no
like,
idea.
we just met. She seemed friendly. She bought me a drink.
Give me a hug, okay.
The Mad Russian's back. He's got a hat on now. Serious game face mode. there here. Going to the flop, 8-6-4. Top set for low. Finally get some hand here. Let's see.
The only problem is, at this point in the game, and we've been watching this for the last hour and 45 minutes, give or take a couple of minutes, she really hasn't put any money in the pot unless she has it. Now, I mean, she hasn't put any money in, period.
Now, are other players going to pick up on this? Like, wow, she's finally got a hand? Is that what we're getting at here? Or?
I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you just wonder, if she raises here, are you really going broke at ace-10?
That's
Are you going broke at
probably the
1-10?
only way she's actually going to get a little bit of action on this spot, because Steve turns top. So he's going to fire out 60. It's on low to call, and she's going to raise.
And ace, if I have ace-10, I'm just, it's Muck City.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, you know that low has that beat. I mean, you just do. She's been playing so tight. She's been playing rock solid. We're going to see what Steve does here.
Now, keep in mind, I mean, she's a tournament player, and she's done fairly well playing tournaments, so I obviously she can bluff. She's got that in her arsenal,
And
but
Steve
we
picks
haven't
up.
seen it tonight.
Yeah, Steve goes away. He correctly folds. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can actually say for the hand perfectly by betting the ace-10, not giving your opponent free draw, and then betting and then folding. That's a great play
You
by
throw out
Steve.
your information, you got it, and the thing is, a lot of people bet for information, then they get the information, but they don't actually listen to it. They don't take it in. He took it in, I bet it for info, I got where I was at, I folded. A lot of players will bet for the same info, get the info, and then still play incorrectly. So that was a good fold.
So Steve, who just folded, that is Steve Kujubu, who got 45 points out of a possible 60. Let's see. His interest in poker started in 2003 with the Moneymaker effect. Started playing small home games. Now with a decade of poker experience, I have seen the game change quite a bit, both online and live, but continue to learn and improve my game. Oh, here he goes. I feel that with my experience, I can offer a good perspective for both tournament and cash game play. I feel that the most important aspect of the game is that it is a quote-unquote people game. Players who do not understand the social interaction of the game will not experience a winning attitude, but most importantly, not have fun at the table. I like to talk with the players and try to understand their thought process, something I have never truly figured out. That's why this game is so complex. That was Steve's bio, and that's how Steve got in.
I think this falls in that category of, it's one of those games that's, you can learn it quickly, but it takes a lifetime to master. I mean, you should always be evolving, always changing, always moving, always learning, really. If you're playing poker and you think you know it all and you don't have anything to learn, you know what, pack up your stuff and go home, man, because there's always new stuff to learn. Players are always changing. I can tell you this, when I started playing poker, let's call it 12 years ago-ish, the player pool then is completely different than the player pool now. I think as a whole, players have evolved to at least a little bit higher level of play than they definitely used to have.
12 years ago, I was playing Raz. Most of the people that I played with are dead.
Yeah.
It's Raz.
Yeah, no, it's a whole fresh crew of people that have evolved. He talked about the moneymaker effect. This just flooded the poker fields with massive players of all different skill sets, all learning, and that have all, and the ones that were able to stick through it have all kind of evolved into decent players. So for the most part, you're always going to have that variance. But I think the poker crew as a whole is definitely upped their game over the past decade or so. Especially once things got televised, because then you can really, now there's all these online forums, everybody can chat, interact, and talk about hands and analyze everything,
Once again, thanks so much for joining us, guys. I see that Bib85, Plastica, Jimmy Bluffett, Nick off 1M3, Reno Grinder, Movie Maker, JJ Casino, all in the chat room. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
And Plastica saying you need 10,000 hours to be an expert at anything. I think, I hate to say it, I'd probably put in the hours, man. That's a lot of hours, but I think, if it's something you love and you're passionate about and you're always learning and evolving, it's something we're going to be in there doing,
Now, is there a possibility you could put 10,000 hours into something and still not be an expert?
Unfortunately, yes, and that's the bad beat. That's a cold deck right there.
Because I'm going to go on a limb and say that I could play basketball with 10,000 hours and I probably will never play in the NBA.
Yeah.
But I've got a hoop and a dream, okay? King high flop, two clubs out there.
Huge flop for Yoda.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he's not going to get any action.
Yeah.
Well, he shouldn't get a lot of action, I should say. Nat is going to he's going to lead out with nothing. Yoda just calls.
Yoda flats here.
Ace of diamonds on the turn.
And not the card Yoda wants to see, but then again, he's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to slow him down.
Yeah, I don't know. Yoda's just, Yoda's going to call again here. And is Nat willing to triple barrel this? That's what it'll take.
This is funny because this could be one of those things where, like, when I flop, when I have Yoda's hand there on that flop, I'm thinking I'm so far ahead that I have just got everybody crushed and I'm almost slow rolling everybody else. But it goes brick.
Oh, and look at this over
And he
pot.
completely missed. This is huge.
Now this looks like, I mean, if you are Yoda, you're thinking deuces.
Yeah.
Is this good at deuces? Really? Because obviously you never put somebody on quads. You've got a king. The way the hand played out, it's unlikely your opponent would have flopped 2 pair, like 7 deuce or king 7. Could theoretically
But
have
he
it.
could have also just been betting second pair, right? Because you check the flop to him, you don't have a king. I'm going to bet my 7, see what happens.
No, and that's actually in the big blinds. So he led out.
Ah, okay.
Ned actually like donk bet. He donk led on the flop and on the turn. And at this point, the way this hand played out, it looks like either maybe missed clubs.
If I was Yoda, I'd be thinking miss clubs, possibly.
The problem is though, is there aren't that many combinations. Remember, you have the king and the jack of clubs,
Yeah.
and your opponent, a lot of your opponent's missed clubs might be ace x of clubs, and I don't think he's over betting the pot with like say ace 10 of clubs.
Yeah.
You bet, remember, you bet 600 in the 400. So a bet that sizing is indicative of the nuts or nothing.
And this could
And
be
look
like,
at this call.
Yep, there you go. And this
Look
could be
at this
like,
call.
what is my opponent trying to get me to think here? What is he trying to accomplish? He's trying to get me out of there. If he's betting 600 to 400, I'm thinking he's probably trying to get me out of there.
That's a big time call.
Yeah.
Real easy from where we sit and you guys at home. That's easy. But if you are in Yoda's spot, you've got to be really scared about pocket deuces.
Yeah. Yoda and JMac here with our chip leaders, 5.4K and 4.8K respectively. These guys have just climbed. They've just been climbing.
Yeah, J-Max had a roller coaster ride, obviously down and up. Yoda, I don't think he's lost a significant pot tonight.
You know why? He's been working out. You see those arms.
Yeah. C2 is a crusher. That's a big time call by Yoda. I actually like that. That's a really good call. And I think we are in
Russian,
the.
we got reloaded some more here. Looks like, and waking up with Jacks here. He's got about 2,000 in front of him, give or take.
Voting for the most skilled player. Yoda might be on my short list.
Absolutely.
Like, I like his game.
No, he's definitely proven it, for sure.
Well, I mean, he's shown some patience. He's picked his spots well. He doesn't have a great seat having J-Mac on his left, but he hasn't let it deter him.
Absolutely. That's huge, too.
He didn't overplay the king jack in clubs. A lot of players will overplay that and not allow their opponents to bluff at it,
Yeah.
or only get played at, and when they get played back at, they're crushed.
Exactly.
Like, he didn't overplay the king jack, but then he made a huge call. That's a really big time call to call 600 into when there was only 400 in the pot before that.
Race to 60 with Jacks from the Mad Russian.
Call.
Looks like we're going to get here. Looks like J-Mac's going to make the call. Lowe's going to make the call. And Nat here from the small blind, thinking about it. He's making the call. 4 players going to the flop.
4 players.
King high flop, 2 clubs out there, and J-Mac with top pair, but it looks like J-Lo might finally get the double up she's looking for with bottom
Finally.
set.
Yeah.
Mad Russian with a pair of jacks. Now, if you're low and you're trying to get paid, specifically low, how do you play it?
Well, see, and the problem is it's a scary board. With the King 10, right, you have a flush draw out there, you got easily a possible straight draw out there. With any sort of ace queen, ace jack, jack queen type combo. I mean, obviously you have the best hand now, or at least you think you do. But it's a scary board. I mean, I'm trying to get chips in there, but then again, everybody sees Lo as such a tight player where she gets chips in, she has it, which she does.
Right.
So,
And you also don't want to block. You don't want a club to come off at clear action. Let's say, for example, if a club comes off here,
well, J-Mac fires 150 in the low.
but I'm saying, if a club comes off here, that might kill an action. It's just-
Absolutely. So just try to get it in right here.
I don't know, but the problem is, unless it's a cooler and your opponent has a very strong second best hand, I just feel like they're going to fold way too often.
And the Mad Russian correctly folds here. And I think Nat folded as well. So it's on J-Mac.
The J-Mac doesn't like the fold. We've seen
No,
this.
he doesn't. He's
But
done it. And Lo might not have enough to push him off. It's only
Yeah.
315 a call. Pot's already at 860.
what's the worst hand she has here, though? Ace jack of clubs, ace something like ace 9 of clubs, ace.
And she just called the pre-fall break. She could even have like a King 10. You know?
Oh, I know that. What's the worst hand she has there?
Oh, the worst hand she has, I agree with you, like an ace jack of clubs. Like a huge, like, flush draw, straight draw,
Okay.
you know.
So, like, if that's the worst hand she has, and the best hand she has,
then you're
and the best
drawing-
hand she has a set.
Then you have to fade so many outs if you're J-Mac, you have to fade the world.
That's what I mean. So against her range.
Yeah. And I
Like
think
if
that's
her
what he's
range
thinking.
includes sets of 5s, sets of 10s, huge
He's gonna make a
draws,
call.
and big kings and 2 pair hands.
He's going to make the call. J-Mac really needs to go run around and drawing extremely thin, and he's drawing dead here.
It's a 5.
Low finally gets paid.
That's a pretty bad
Makes a
call.
hand and gets paid. All right, guys, and that brings us to 9 p.m. You know what that means? Fresh
What's it mean?
voting.
Yes.
Next category.
Yeah, next category is an exciting one. The next category is voting for the luckiest player.
Oh, that's all over the place in this game.
Yeah, right now the unluckiest player certainly has been the Mad Russian.
Yeah, yeah.
And the luckiest player so far, probably J-Mac, I would assume. I remember, I mean, about half his stack is because he hit a diamond in the river.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He'd be down with that if not for the diamond.
That right there, that hand alone qualifies for a lot of luck.
The 2 biggest calls of the night, though, and the 2 biggest calls that were correct, we've seen Hot Dog make a great call with 5s against the Mad Russian.
Absolutely. Great
and then we
call.
saw Yoda make a great call against Nat. And I think the Yoda call was probably a little tougher because Nat really hasn't gotten out of line.
And it was and there was almost no value there. He almost overbet the pot to where there would be no value for him necessarily, and he still made the call, you know?
I've seen a lot of guys that overbet pot when they have the nuts.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's, again, when you're playing with a certain level of player, they're going to rethink you, right? So they're going to be like, well, if you know that I'm a good player, that I'd overbet with this, then I'm going to do the opposite, and boom, get paid.
Who's the luckiest player, guys? Come on, help us out.
Talk to me.
Once again, we are here next Saturday, the Saturday after that, all the way through June 18th. The winner each table will play on June 18th in a sit and go, and the winner of that sit and go will get a WSOP $10,000 main event seat. So you'll be representing all of Northern California and of course Stones at the World Series, and hopefully you can turn this free roll into millions.
And if you're real lucky and you're representing Stones, they might give you one of those really nice Stones sweatshirts. Those are really comfy. Not even gonna lie to you. Jake was talking them up, then I ended up picking one up. If you have, you can get $25 on your player's card. Here, they're right here. They're amazing. Check that out. Yeah, it
comes different colors?
Yeah, no, I think, well, it's this. I've seen actually a couple different sets up, but it's really nice. And you even have, look at this is my favorite part. You have a little zipper here in the arm. I call this my reload pocket. That's where I keep a fresh handy, just in case of emergency.
So you know, so if you ever want to mug, Fat Train, you know exactly where he keeps his money.
Yeah, this is worth at least $100 right here at a minimum.
Nick off 1M3 says, when's Sean Drake going to be on the stream? If he gets into the satellite, he'll definitely win. Nobody runs as good as Baby.
Baby D. Baby D. All right, 8 deuce for Nat here.
Yeah, you're trying to wondering, how did we get here?
Yeah, we're developing a big pot. I mean, obviously.
And she gives out.
Oh, check. Yeah,
Low
then
can be-
Low's got to have the best, whatever it is. Is that ace? What is that, aces? Oh, ace queen?
She's definitely
queen.
going to beat 8 high.
Yeah, I was like, no matter what it is, Low's got the best. Low being Low has the best here. So a little bit of a streak for Low. You know, it's been pretty quiet there. Picks up
Pretty much doubles up and then was
yeah,
on
great sizable pots here. She's finally gaining some traction.
It's good to see. She's up to 1,500 now.
Yeah.
And it was, felt like 30 seconds ago, she had $400 in front of her. Actually, I commentated on Baby Drake in the Monster Stack tournament at the World Series, where he finished in 3rd.
Nice.
He's a very good player. And
Yeah, no, he's got
he's
a
lucky.
he's got a great track record around here, for sure.
Diamonds are cheap. A lot of diamonds out there. Hot Dog with 8-4 diamonds, J Mac with Jack 10 of diamonds, Mad Russian with the nut diamonds.
But without J-Max been running, I feel like J-Mac would hit a straight flush against Mad Russians and Nut Diamonds just because.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all. By the way, Mad Russian has rebought for another 2K.
Yeah, no,
Look at
he's
that.
ready. Because I saw Reload with just a stack of green for 500, but then he hit something at 2K real quick.
J Mac with top pair.
Not a bad swap for J-Mac.
I'm trying to get $10,000.
Not only does he dodge the diamonds and not have to worry about Mad Russian felting him, but he flops top pair.
Looks like you get a bet here by J-Mac. J-Mac's going to bet 50.
Oh. Mad Russian's going to float.
Mad Russian, yeah, he's going to make the call.
Tux calls as well. He's got backdoor clubs. Oh, and look at this. It's getting interesting now.
This is going to be interesting.
So J-Mac's still with the best hand. He has a gut shot, straight draw, and the flush draw. But we can see the flush is no good unless it's the Queen of Diamonds in the river. And if the Queen of Diamonds comes on the river,
That would be the nastiest cold deck ever.
I would actually just go out there and just...
Yeah, we're just done.
I'd be so sorry for Mad Russian.
I feel like they'd already be at the booth crying and like just to tell us about it, or like watching how this hand's going to go down because.
By the way, obviously Mad Russian's stack 338 is not correct. You can see that he's got about 1,800 in front of him, and he's going to bet here 2 1/4. Now he can represent Queen Jack here very easily. Remember, he called the $50
Yeah,
bet.
easily could have flopped open-ended, you know, just called, got there. You know, funny thing about this is we've all been in situations like this where you're thinking diamond, 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 then you actually see that the other guy has a bigger diamond draw, and then you're thinking, I'm just kidding, no diamond, no
Right.
diamond.
Tux gets out of the way, back over to J-Mac. J-Mac's certainly not going to fold. And his hand is like the perfect check call hand where he's got some value, he's got a gut shot, he's got a flush draw.
He knows he needs to get there.
Doesn't want to get raised off this one, so he's going to call. Pot now $730.
Oh, and the river. 7 of
kidding
diamonds.
me?
Good lord. With all the diamonds that were locked up pre-flop, too. That's every diamond in the world. I think we're using 2 decks here.
Now, it's one thing when front door diamonds gets there, if a front door flush gets there.
A backdoor flush is so disguised.
It is. It really
Especially
is.
in 2 people that have it. Like, this is fireworks. This is sparks. There's no way around it. Chips are going to fly, guys.
Yeah, J-Mac is not checking to check call. I think he's checking to check raise, unless Mad Russian bets like 700, which he might do.
I think J-Mac is going to think he's super solidly good here, and we're going to get a raise. We're going to get a raise no matter
I
what.
mean, he's only losing, by the way. He's only losing with the ace high flush. That's a big bet, though. I might just call that, though. That's
That
such a big
is a
bet.
large bet. 800. So he's literally betting pot. Pot was at 730. He's going to fire out 8. He's betting more than pot. And J-Mac's going to pick up on this, and we're going to see what J-Mac wants to do here.
He's obviously not folding.
Yeah, no, he's not. There's no. At a bare minimum, he's going to get in there and pay off the 800 here.
Yeah. I mean, we saw J-Mac. J-Mac doesn't fold, period. So he's certainly not going to fold this. It's just a question of, is he check raising this, or is he just going to call?
Better Call Saul in the box thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, backdoor diamonds are just so hidden. I think
It's way hidden. And for 2 people to have it like that, and the way the hand played out, nobody's thinking. No, he can't be thinking that both of them have diamonds.
although the
There's
pot
no
is
way.
the pot and the bets are incorrect. And here's the raise.
Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's huge. He can't even get it out there quick enough.
Oh, and Mad Russian is partying in his
Oh
pants
yeah,
right now.
it's true. $2 grand, getting bet into Stone Cold Nutskis.
Nothing better. That's the way he moves into my nuts.
Yeah, it's true. J-Mac says all in, straight up.
That's the way to try to get
Mad Russian. Slow roll?
Because you 3,000 in this game to get in that table.
Call slaps it. Oh wow, he better be careful the way he threw down those cards. If those fly off the table, he would have the worst day ever, actually. But you are gonna take it down there, my friend.
Look at
Huge spot.
And
That
he
was the largest
just-
spot of the night.
He just rebought for another 2,000.
And this is what goes back to talk about having the stack when you make your hand to get paid.
You know, it's interesting. I'm trying to think of the hands. One of the issues is, if you're J-Mac, is you start putting your opponent in a range of hands. You start thinking of, okay, obviously sets are in his range, Queen Jack's in his range. He could theoretically have like 5x diamonds, because you have 10 diamonds, so it's,
Yeah.
you can't have that. You're trying to think of, okay, what hands do we call the flop? And you're losing the ace 5 of diamonds. He doesn't usually have Queen 5 of diamonds. You wouldn't think he'd have that.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's there. Yeah.
You're beating 5-6 diamonds. You're beating like 5-4 diamonds. I'm trying to wonder if is it an overplay to check raise all in if you're, or is it just a check call?
Well, I think it's one of those things. It's like you said. It all comes down to being so disguised. To have 2 players make backdoor diamonds the way that hand worked out, it's just that's tough, man. I think it's one of those things where you could just check call, but if you really want to get greedy and go for just the super shank kill right there in the gut, then that's what you got to do.
Right. Now, I like Kelly Donks points out, he says, what is Jason getting value from? Under normal circumstances, I agree 100%. I think when a bet size is that large, you think your opponent's polarized, he's either got the nuts or some sort of misdraw or something like that. I think against most players, you're just calling.
Yeah.
But these two have been going at it all night.
Oh, no, they have a great history.
Right.
Yeah.
These 2 players have been going at it all night, and if there is a player that you could theoretically check raise all in with the jack high flush and actually get called by worse,
Right? Yeah.
it's between these
I
2 players.
know. That's the sickest
So-
part.
That's the only thing. But look at that though. So this roller coaster ride for for J-Mac continues. Now, right now we are at luckiest player. So J-Mac,
20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean J-Mac's the horseshoe fell out of J-Mac's ass.
Oh my God! Straight
Somewhere
up.
along the line.
Somebody walked by and went, boop, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I think Lowe took it for 2 hands, just to really get in there and flop some sets and make some chips.
This is why you wash your hands, folks.
Yes, it's true. That's why you do not kiss the chips, even if you've seen it on TV. Don't do it.
Who kisses the chips?
It's weird. Don't do it.
I've never seen that. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, it's happened. It happened here in one of the streams. I think Jake was like, "Don't kiss the chips."
J-Lo's
Here we
in
go.
trouble.
2 trips.
Yeah,
Steve
J-Lo's in
and
trouble.
Lowe.
Now this could get chopped up, but right now the 9 does play. And you can see the I think J-Lo, as a tournament player, she strikes me as the type of player that might overplay trips with that kicker.
So we're gonna see. It looks like Steve bets out 35. It's 35. We're gonna get a raise here from Lowe.
Yeah, I don't love it simply because
75.
I just every time I get trips, if you get significant action, it's not like the players you're playing with are blind. They
Yeah.
see 2 jacks out there.
Yeah, yeah, they
So
know.
if you raise, they're like, wow, you might have trip jacks. Okay.
Exactly.
If you get played back at, what are you getting played back at with?
And you can't think necessarily because you're getting played right. You're Jack 9 over there with your kicker. You're thinking, okay, if I'm getting played back,
I might, by the way, oh wow, Steve K folded
wow.
Jack 9. No, he didn't.
No, we're just
still
kidding.
got-
We're just kidding. We're still in.
But I was going to say, if you're Steve K, you might actually be in a situation where I don't love my Jack 9.
No, I don't love it. Absolutely. It's almost like a cry call or just to get away, right?
Well, I mean,
Because you could easily have Jack Queen, Jack King.
Well,
you know,
think of
even Jack 10.
what cards are the likely. Think about it. She's probably not in there with too many Jack 5s, Jacks 4s, Jack 3s, and Jack Deuces.
Yeah.
Jack 8 is the only Jack you can beat.
And with Lowe's image at the table, it's not like she's pumping you with air there. She's not just making a move. You know what I mean?
Did they get checked down or did they go
I
all
think
in?
check, check. No, we got.
No,
we
it's
got
check on the turn.
And check on the river. Lowe's gonna fire. And we got a quick call from Steve. Lowe
No, I
fires
think
the river.
actually Steve fired.
Oh, okay.
Steve fired and Lowe quickly calls. So give Lowe credit for when she raised the flop and got called. Red flags went up, and she obviously sensed that, maybe he's got a Jack 2. The kicker's not very good.
Absolutely.
She can't not pay him off on the river. She does pay him off, unfortunately for her.
But she's not getting crazy because, again, you see a lot of players who are newer to the game. Oh, I got trip jacks. I mean, they're betting the farm. They can't get their chips in there fast enough. So it's really nice that when she bets and she pays for the information, she slows down. She knows, it might not be the best here. He's probably got a jack, better kicker. And correctly, I think, loses kind of minimal cash on that hand.
I've seen so many players overplay trips.
Oh, yeah.
And then you realize that when a lot of money is going in the pot and the board is like Jack, Jack 7,
Yeah.
your opponent probably has a big Jack or maybe pocket 7.
I was gonna say or pocket 7s, but they're not. Yeah, they're not just doing that with air. They're not doing that like an 8-9 gutter ball. Unless it's one of those super hyperactive players and you're playing against somebody who's tight. And then again, that comes down to it depends, right? Because I mean, hell, you'd see crazy stuff between J-Mac and the Mad Russian because they have this wicked history all night. But that's not gonna happen with somebody like Lowe. I mean, she's really only shown down 3 hands. She's killed 2 of the pots with them. I mean, she's not,
Huck's raising the 50 with the 4 deuce. J-Mac calls. J-Mac, what a flop for him as he flops straight draw here with backdoor diamonds. Huck's actually outflops him with a pair of 4s, and you can see Huck's now a 3-2 favorite to win the hand. Should it get the showdown? It's going to be tough for Huck's to get there, though. He bets 125, though. And J-Mac calls. Pot now 352.
What's with these backdoor diamonds?
Wow.
What's with these backdoor diamonds? Huge, tons of
What a
outs.
turn
Half the
card.
deck of outs for J-Mac.
Yeah, but Huck's now makes 2 pair.
Yeah. Oh.
Where J-Mac could have actually bluffed him off the hand. Huck's is going nowhere.
And Huck's is thinking, this is great, my hand improved. I was already kind of cool where I was at. I was going to try to take a stab at it, and now my hand actually got better.
But when he gets
so did J-Max.
I mean, when Huck's gets called in the flop, I don't know how much he likes his pair of 4s, but now he loves it.
Yeah.
And he bets 200 into 352. Now the question is, does J-Mac just call, or is he going to raise here?
Well, and the funny thing that he's also thinking is, if J-Mac did have a jack, there's no way that he had like a jack deuce. I mean, he's not thinking of the deuce like, again, having tie cards. He doesn't think that the deuce really helped improve J-Mac's hand too much.
No, if I was in J-Mac's spot, I'd probably put my opponent on, and there's a king, I'd probably put my opponent on an overpair, like queens or kings or something along those lines. I don't think I'm going to bluff at this one with J-Mac's image, and J-Mac decides not to bluff at it.
And Huck's going to take it.
Huck's did not bet the river. That's a little bit too tight for my taste. I think you got to bet the river.
Yeah, I think he was probably just fearing a check raise, right? Maybe on the river, right? He didn't want to get raised up. He just wanted to show down and collect if he was good.
Right, but how often is J-Mac check raising bluffing?
Yeah, not right there.
I mean, if you check raises, he probably has you beat.
Yeah, no, he's not doing that. It's not, especially not right there in that pot.
I like the discretion there. I think J-Mac showed some discipline by not bluffing that spot, especially after just losing a big pot. I think the table was expecting him to be on tilt. And let's say Hux only had what we thought he had. Like, based on the way the hand played out, let's say he had no repair.
Yeah.
Queens.
Yeah.
I don't think he's folding those hands. I don't think. Aces are cheap.
Yeah.
Ace Jack, Ace 8.
Because Steve K and Low, they always have like tie cards, right? We saw Jack 8, Jack 9, and then they both have Ace Jack here.
Once again, David Tuckman, Justin Kelly alongside. We are here at Stones Gambling Hall in Sacramento. You are watching the Stones Live Survivor Series. Your votes will determine our winner tonight and our winner every single Saturday until, of course, the final, which is a sit and go. The winner of that sit and go will earn themselves a $10K World Series of Poker main event seat.
For just playing some poker. Same thing you'd be doing. These guys do this every day for free, and now they're actually doing it to win a seat. This is fantastic. Mad Russian waking up some threes here. Looks like we got a re-raise. Re-raise by Steve K here with Ace Jack to 175. And the Russian's going to get out of there. Threes are in the hole. It's on Hux here with Deuce 3. Now, you said you know Hux. Have you played with him a few times?
No, I've seen him play a couple of times. I might have played with him once. I mean, I wouldn't say we're friends, but I know him in the sense that
I know of him.
right, and I've seen him play.
Cool.
That's about it. Take a look at the chip count here. So Yoda has been just as steady as everything, and he's up to 4,700. Remember when we started this stream a little bit over 2 hours ago, he had 3,000. So a nice little profit without really any variance at all.
Yeah, and J-Mac dropped down a little bit. He's about 2.8K. We think he's stuck for just around the low 3K, so he's a little bit below even right now after taking that big loss with the running diamond flush here.
Yeah, that was a tough beat for him.
That's sometimes it just runs that way, man. That's real tough, especially the way it was disguised and went runner. I mean, nobody really sees that coming.
It's one of those be careful what you wish for, huh?
Yeah. Hot Dog waking up with a hand here. We got kings in the hijack. And Steve K, who just re-raised and took down the other pot with Ace Jack, actually wakes up with tens. So we could have a battle of the pairs here.
Guys in the chat box are talking beer, which I'm always a big fan of.
Oh, nice. Pretty cool.
Once again, come here. If you come down to Stones at 10 o'clock when Justin and I are finished, we'll each buy you a beer.
I mean, literally, like it's a 2-beer minimum, 2-drink minimum, you're covered. Get in here.
Done.
I'll see the more players.
10s, 10-9 suited, kings, and queen 9 going to the flop.
And
Those diamonds are hot tonight, man.
yeah, and it's like the kings are just ace magnets, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's the ace 7-4. Now King's still in the lead, but Hot Dog hates it.
Oh, absolutely, especially with 4 players in the pot. You hate it.
Yeah.
Somebody has to play with an ace, right?
You always think that.
Yeah.
That was my he checked and I checked.
Okay. Just checking where the dealer button's at. Hot Dog wants to make sure, no misdeal, my kings are good. Steve's gonna bet out 75. It's on Hux to call. He's gone. Let's see, we call 75, Hux calls. Hot Dog's out of there with kings. Yoda's gone, heads up.
A few more outs here for Hux as he picks up a gutter as well. He can catch an 8 or diamonds.
Steve's still in the lead, but definitely not a lock by any means.
Yeah, this worked out really well for Steve by betting and then getting Hux to call.
Yeah.
He got the kings to fold, and now you can see Steve is a 3-1 favorite to win it with 1 card remaining.
Yeah,
but he's going to give it
that's
up.
a tough spot. That's a tough spot for Steve. I mean, there's just all sorts of stuff out there. The hand wasn't getting any better for him. I mean, he's almost just going with his initial gut. And the other things, Hux had so many outs.
You think leading out is just a little bit optimistic? Leading out at the three opponents with 10s?
Yeah, well, sometimes it's weird. Sometimes I find myself in positions where I lead out to try to slow other people down. I figure if I bet this, then if I bet 100, it'll slow them down from betting 2 or 250. But at this table, I don't really think there's a whole lot of slowing anybody down. I mean, if these guys want to just sling it, they're going to go for it.
I don't mind the slow down tactic if I've got a big draw and I don't want to get, bet off my draw. But when I've got a hand that's very unlikely to improve, and in that case it was 2 10s,
Yeah.
you've got 2 outs to improve basically.
That's it. Yeah.
I feel like your hand's good enough to have you've got showdown value. And if you bet, you're just going to be in a really tough spot because you're not getting an ace to fold.
Yeah.
And you're not getting diamonds to fold either. And then what are you going to do on the turn?
Well, it's the point where, you know, the only hands that are really calling you are the hands that are beating you. And while he was technically ahead right there, you know, Hux had so many outs to beat him. He had a gut shot, diamonds, you know, I mean. And Hot Dog over here is like, I'm just folding kings like nothing, man. That's my life. That's my world.
Yeah, Hot Dog certainly. I think, I mean, Category 6, once again, is the most disciplined player, and I think Hot Dog's got to win that category.
Yep, currently go, guys, we got 10 minutes left in the category, which is the luckiest player.
Who's been the luckiest player?
Oh, God.
Or even, who strikes you as the luckiest player at this table?
Man.
I mean, you could say that Hot Dog is lucky in life. Nine grandchildren.
He's definitely lucky in life and love, for sure. I don't know, man. I want to go between J-Mac and the Mad Russian. I think it's between
Why?
those.
But they've both been the luckiest and the unluckiest.
And the unlucky, that's what I mean.
So,
but and then they also automatically they get both the title of gamble. You know, super crazy gamble player. So, oh man, that's a tough one.
Is it really or no? It's just, I thought it said for the ultimate. It's like, we have 5 million
And
bucks.
for those of you guys in the chat room, the guy here off to the side that you'll see every now and then needling players and just causing an overall ruckus is actually Poker Pro Eric.
I was wondering that myself.
Yeah, there you go.
Holy shit,
Good to know. So J-Mac raises to $30 in the hijack seat.
my headphones on the floor.
Mad Russian's going to call.
I found $800 under my seat. I didn't even know it was missing.
This is a straddled pot, by the way. Now, this is a situation where ace 4 offsuit.
Yeah, we were going to the club.
I'm free betting this round.
Like, well, I didn't even know it was missing.
I mean, yeah, you can call spike an ace and be like, I hate my hand.
And you have no idea what right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you spike a 4 and you're ahead, and now what do you do? So you're just going to get outplayed so often with ace 4 offsuit.
So Huck's technically the best hand here. Yeah, but I mean, obviously the Mad Russian's got a huge amount of draws here against him.
And J-Mac's in position.
You do your laundry? You feel like it's not on bill and laundry?
I've done.
I think sometimes people see in the big blind, or in this case, the straddle spot, where they see an ace and they're like, oh, if I fold this, it's too weak.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not a matter of the absolute value of your hand, but the playability of your hand, which is really important. And by the way, even more of a reason to 3-bet your Hux is not only your image, but J-Mac opens and Mad Russian calls.
Yeah.
Neither one needs a hand.
No, I know. It's obviously you're like, I could easily.
And turn up, and then see, he flops the best of it. I mean, ace high was the best thing already, but he flops a pair and is still forced to fold. Turns the jack of hearts. King high, by the way, still the best hand. Mad Russian with the flush draw. He's going to check once again.
And on J-Mac here. He's going to think about it.
He checks it back. River's the ace, and now...
Hux would have picked up, well, aces and jacks.
Right. This is a really interesting spot because a lot of draws missed. I don't think J-Mac's folding king high.
500.
We've seen him call with ace high.
I think right now, the only hand that Mad Russian is betting for value is a jack. Now, he wouldn't bet a queen. He would bet king 10, obviously. King 10 got there, but 10-9 did not get there. Clubs did not get there.
I literally from months away, and I think I found it.
Bet 250.
Bet 250.
I think...
250. Bet right about the pot size here.
I think J-Mac might call this.
It would not be beyond me to see him make this call.
Can you make the call with king high?
Nah, he's
No, he lets it go.
So I just got a text actually from my buddy out in Dallas who used to live around here. And he said, actually, Train, you're the luckiest player I have ever known. But he said, I'm not available to be voted on.
Right,
Yes.
unfortunately, he's not eligible for voting.
Yeah.
So Yoda at 4,700, Mad Russian at 4,300 now. Remember, he's probably in the game for about 5K.
Yeah.
But
And when he reloaded earlier, he successfully added on to that reload real quick, and then he hit that huge pot against Jay Money over there. So
he is, while still down on the night, Phil Locke kind of coined these terms like up stuck.
yeah, okay,
down
fair
stuck.
enough.
Things like that, where like if you were up 4,000 at one point and now you're only up 2,500, yeah, you're still up, but it doesn't feel that good.
Yeah.
But if you're in this case where he's still stuck, he feels great because he was down like
Huge.
He was probably down $3,000, and now he's probably down $700.
Yeah. And it's funny. I mean,
and he just got to bluff through.
sometimes after you get a lot of that back, you never felt so good to be down like $500. You're like, I feel so great. I was stuck horrible. Or when you get it all back, you grind for hours and hours and you break even. You're like, guys, I made $0 and I feel fantastic. I love my life. All right, Nat here, gonna race to 50 with jacks.
4 players.
All right, 4 players going to the flop.
Top set here for Nat.
Top set. Speed
and
draw.
what a
And speed
flop
draw
for Hot
and
Dog.
open-ended for Hot Dog.
Yeah, this could get in. This could all get in.
Yeah,
And frankly, if you're Hot Dog with your image, I'm playing this hand aggressively.
absolutely.
And Nat with top set. I love betting here. A lot of players think, oh, let's slow play. No, it's such a wet board.
Oh, it's draw happy. All sorts of draw happy out there.
You don't want, even if your opponent had, let's say your opponent's got 6s here. You know the chips are going to go in at some point, but let's say a spade comes out, that could actually kill your action.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily always betting to protect your hand, but sometimes you want to bet to make sure that an action killer doesn't come off. He does bet $115. Good sizing, I like it. He bets about half the pot. And just a call from Hot Dog. But you might see him raise.
Brick on the turn here with a 5.
Total brick. If a different player had Queen 10 spades, we could see a $4,000 pot very easily. 7-8, by the way, got there.
Looks like we're coming out. Looks like we're going to bet 275. Here's the bet.
Again, I like the sizing. He's building a pot up without losing his opponent.
Instant call, no hesitation from Hot Dog. Gets it out there. Hot
And the
Dog's
river's the
gonna-
queen of
river the
diamonds.
Queen, that might be just enough to actually make Hot Dog just pay him a little bitty bet here on the river. We're going to find out.
Yeah, now we saw him make a great call with 5s earlier. Can he make a good laydown with top pair?
We're going to find out. Because, I mean, his hand improved, obviously not in the way he wanted. But if he thought, Nat was just firing with 1 jack the whole time, he might think he's good here. Unfortunately for him, Nat's got 2.
Yeah, I like the sizing by Nat as well, simply because you've got the board kind of locked up. Your opponent's most likely hand is a draw, simply because you have top set.
Yeah. And obviously, Hot Dog's not calling with King 10. He didn't hit a gut shot.
No, he's not.
Okay,
calling.
we got Nat all in. Nat went all in.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of an overbet by.
Yeah, I think Hot Dog gets away from this.
Unless he wants the hero call. The problem with it is when you're sizing your bets, it's not. It's just as important. It's actually more important to try to figure out what your opponent has, as opposed to what you're betting. Like Nat's got the nuts. He knows that. He's got the best hand here.
Yeah.
But you got to get paid.
And
so what kind of hand?
Exactly.
What kind of
Can
hand
your
does Hot
opponent
Dog-
call you with, right?
Right.
How can I get value out of this?
Yes, if he has a set of 6s or a set of 9s, yes, you're getting paid. But you probably would have heard from him on a prior street if he had 6s or 9s.
He would have announced that he's got the big call.
So in this particular spot, what's the best hand? And look
he
at
makes
this,
the call. He
calls.
makes the call. He does make the call. He was going for the hero call. Set of jacks good. Hot Dog's not gonna like what he sees. I think Hot Dog maybe just put him on a jack, maybe a busted flush draw as well.
He's not betting a jack.
No, I know.
You gotta just. Wow, tough break for Hot Dog. Tough break for Hot Dog. Sometimes you're playing against an aggressive player, and you said it earlier, Nat, the most feared aggressive player in his own words in Sacramento, and maybe Hot Dog knew that, knew he was capable of triple barrel bluffing.
Of course, and he was trying to just play up that image,
But the overbet worked in that case. Earlier on, we saw a $600 bet into a $400 pot. That did not work. It was snuffed out by Yoda. Earlier on, we also saw a great call by Hot Dog with 5. Here, he makes a huge call. Top pair. And unfortunately for him, he doubles up.
All right, guys, real quick, 2 minutes left in this voting period, so get in your votes if you haven't yet. Sometimes I get watching and I get distracted and I don't get in my votes and I'm like, crap, I missed a round. 2 minutes left, luckiest player, get in your votes. We only have one more round after this, and that will be for the most disciplined player. But definitely get in your votes. Again, 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, voting for the luckiest player.
Yeah, pretty insane action in this particular game. We've seen some crazy calls. We've seen some crazy bluffs. We have seen some huge overbets with bluffs and with the nuts. This has been one of the more entertaining 2-5 games I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, and we even got in the chat room, like I think Coach Pro Eric basically said, like, hey, I'd love to get in a game like that. He's like, but it's too deep for me. I mean, this is not a 2-5 game. It's a 2-5 game in spirit on paper, but it's just more than that.
Oh no, for sure. Not even a question.
Did you guys get rid of somebody already?
And you wonder how much of that call by Hot Dog was a frustration call. Like he had such a big draw.
Yeah. And you
And to miss it, and then he just gets frustrated.
That's what I was talking about earlier. It's just you think you have the world as your oyster with a flop like that, and you just pick brick.
By the way, had he raised the flop with a turn and lost, not only would have I been okay with it, I think I would have picked it.
Yeah.
Because
He's not gonna win the vote
playing
tomorrow.
his image, I think he gets Nat to fold anything except the set.
Yeah.
I think Nat folds aces.
Oh yeah, no, I think Nat folds a huge hand, and plus if he did play back earlier and then got the super reshove all in, I mean I know he's still got a world of outs, but at least he can think about where's he out on this hand because Nat wouldn't play back at him with absolutely nothing given Hot Dog's image. So
Yeah.
he could have got some information from that and actually ended up getting away from not completely stacking off and calling him.
J-Mac with a pair on a straight draw. Queen 9, also has a queen of diamonds to boot. But playing it conservatively, which is, hey, that's another way to play it. Playing it conservatively and calling, I think you got to find that fold button. Queen on the turn, Mac with 2 pair, didn't want 2 pair, low now is a straight. Now she's got the ass into the straight. That's the problem with calling with the 8 on this board. Yeah, okay, you made the straight, and how much do you like it?
Yeah, exactly. Even though you're technically open-ended, you're gutable. You only thing you want is a 7. You don't even want the queen, Because chances are, especially with a board like that, it's very plausible for anybody to have king anything. King Jack, King 10, King, it's just...
Over, it's a 150. The other issue with calling with a hand like with an 8 on this one, same reason I don't love calling it just a king, unless I got a king and a pair. Because when you hit, it's obvious.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get value now. Now, if your opponent has a set, they're going to call and try to fill up.
And I think J-Mac knows he's behind here. He would literally just be calling to fill.
Yeah. And that's the problem with a hand like this. It's like when she gets called, she's almost always behind or tying.
Yeah, and the problem with her hand is you almost bet for value, but you don't even want to call. You literally don't. You don't even want to get called.
Yeah, and J-Mac, who can't fold anything.
Yeah.
Folds 2 pair. Once again, next week, guys, 612 Limit Hold'em. We have had a huge number of people trying to get into a lot of the no-limit games and the PLO games. So if you're looking to get involved in the Stone Survivor Series, next week is a great opportunity for you to do so. You have until Wednesday night, I believe, to get your bio in.
I think it's Wednesday at noon.
Wednesday at noon.
Wednesday
Thank
at
you.
noon.
Well, it's Wednesday night somewhere.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, like New Zealand time.
Night-ish.
Yeah. No, but you have till Wednesday at noon to get your application in, your bio in, and that would be great. So, like I said, so next week is a great week to get in there.
And guys, it's 9:32. You know what that means? The last and final voting category. Vote for the most disciplined player. Now, what do you think about this? I mean, what do you think most disciplined? Take a pick. Not too influenced, but what's your pick for most disciplined here?
I think I might go to Yoda.
Yeah. I'm totally okay with that. Absolutely.
I mean, Hot Dog's been disciplined to some regard, you know?
Yeah.
I think the call there, the Queen 10, unfortunately for him, I think
It stole your disciplined vote right at the end there. It was almost there, but then...
because he hasn't picked up many hands, and he had the kings, and he just folded right away when the ace come up, and there was a bet and a call. It was an incorrect fold, based on the results, but I think in the long run, he's a pretty good fold.
I like the Yoda call there because, for most discipline, because at the end of the day, he's not afraid to get the chips in there, but he's also not afraid to get the hell out of there when he thinks he's, just getting pulled one over on. Like when somebody's just firing out at him, he's just like, you know what?
Yeah, I said this last week. I picked one player who I thought would have the best chance at a deep run in the main event, and I'll do the same thing this week. And right now, I think Yoda, I'm not saying that he would, but I think if I had to pick one player that would have a deep run in the main event, I think Yoda's got a really good chance because it looks like he can sit there and fold for hours on end.
Which is kind of what you have to be able to do at a minimum, yeah.
Exactly, but he's not afraid to make a big call when he has to.
And you really need to have that element of no fear, especially in tournaments like that.
So I kind of like what he brings to the game. Mad Russian with a huge flop against Hux's deuces. He could have caught a 3, could have caught an ace, could have caught a jack, could have caught a club, but he did catch the ace of hearts on the turn. And this is the problem with deuces. Yeah,
I mean, you can even get counterfeit. That's the worst part.
Right.
3 peels off and ace peels off, you're done.
There's almost no card you like.
Yeah, you can literally, you are drawing to a deuce and a deuce alone.
Now, unless you're prepared to turn your hand into a bluff, and it looks like he's going to bluff.
That might be the way we're going here. Have a position is nice. The Mad Russian here. The Mad Russian's just got. It's such a huge hand though.
Yeah, and I don't think Mad Russian's going to fold, but I wouldn't re-raise these check clubs. I think at this point, there's a chance you could be drawing dead. Your opponent could have pocket threes.
Absolutely, pocket threes. I mean, even ace six is possible in position.
Now, can Hux fire into the bullet? Let's say the river. Okay, the rivers are blank. Can Hux fire? Because I think if Hux fires into the bullet here, he wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if he bets, say,
Because at this point, all he needs is 6, right? That's it. That's it. It's easy money.
He's playing the hand like he has a 6.
And he's not going to get up the Mad Russian on the turn because of the read club draw for the Mad Russian, right? But now that the river's a brick, essentially, you know, Hux can really make this work.
And I think if Hux bets that 700, he can win the pot.
Absolutely. Into 1.2K. You can't make it look crazy obvious, but I like that.
I don't mind.
No, but 7 times, it's almost like a value bet with 6. I love that bet sizing.
I mean, I don't mind an overbet depending on who you're playing against. But I think 700 to 800 will get this job done.
Yeah.
And he bets 5, I think. It still might work. It's a little bit on the light side, though.
There he is. Oh man, look at that. He's doing the fist clench. He's thinking, man, oh wow, he might get off. Hux might just pull this off.
Yeah, I mean, well, you'd fold ace jack. I would fold ace jack.
Yeah.
I think, Hux hasn't shown that he's bluffing at all.
No.
I think there's no reason to think that he's bluffing.
And the way he played the hand, he could have easily just had 6 whatever. You know?
6-7, 6-5.
It doesn't matter. Does it on the turn.
I think he has a 6 here or pocket 3s here a ton.
I think the Mad Russian's right on the cusp of either way here.
Which is why I said, if you make it 700 or 750.
I think he's gone.
Yeah.
500 is almost like a, okay, you got it call. You know what I mean?
Stu Unger was so good at that. I've talked to people about his game way back in the day. Stu Unger, the only player to ever win the main event 3 times, revolutionized the game, was decades ahead of where people were. And they said that not only was he so dangerous and could bluff at any moment, but he also knew the exact sizing. He knew he bluffed the absolute minimum he had to.
Yeah.
And he was able to get value in certain spots. He was just so good at the sizing.
I think if he was still around, you would just see him whirling through every tournament around the globe. You know,
game's changed a lot. He'd have to adapt.
I think he could.
Yeah, might be right. Problem with him, of course, he couldn't stay sober.
Look at that. Yeah, no, exactly. So I think you're right. I think 700, the Russian's already folded his hand. We're on to the next one. I think 500, it's just right on that cusp of. Do I really?
The problem is though, you have ace jack of clubs. What is your opponent bluffing? Sometimes you've got to think of. I talked to Scott Seaver about this. When you think your opponent's bluffing, you have to think of, okay, what is my opponent bluffing with? Because I have the ace jack of clubs, so what is my opponent bluffing with? Are they talking to each other at all?
No. I thought he said call. I thought the Mad Russian announced verbal call, but I don't think he did.
No, obviously not. And look, it's kind of interesting how.
Now, what do you think about Hux picks up his hand?
That's what I'm saying.
Now, what do you think about that when people do that? Does that mean it's strong? Does that mean that they're okay? I got it, or I'm just waiting to show it to you? I mean, like, I can go either way on that.
It's
an angle shoot either way.
Well, I don't want to call it an angle shoot.
No,
I disagree with you. I don't think it's an angle. I think it's clearly he's either A, very, very comfortable with his hand and wants to show it. B, he's trying to give off a tell that, oh, I've got it and let me show you my hand, or a reverse tell depending on who he's playing against. I don't think it's an angle shoot at all.
No. But it's funny because then he checks his phone. He's just like, I'm comfortable. I'm just waiting. Call or no.
He's either trying to show that he's comfortable, or he actually really is comfortable.
Yeah. He's really I love it. He's really putting Mad Russian to the test here.
I mean, Russian can beat nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, his jack doesn't even play.
GA, please, table 11. Clock has been called on table 11.
I love the instincts here by Hux. I really like. I mean, if you're going to call with deuces, you've got to be willing to turn your hand into a bluff, and I think that's exactly what he did. I like it.
You called it right as he was doing it.
It's just the sizing. And if he makes it 7-800, if he makes it 7-800, the hand's gone.
I'm gonna give you 60 seconds to act. Get a 10-second countdown if you have an active channel.
Oh, he makes the call. Good call. Good call. Oh yes, the celebration. And I agree with his happiness there, man. I mean, when you really sit there and you're in kind of a tight spot to make not an easy call necessarily, and you make a good call, it feels good, man. I mean, it feels real good.
Yeah, we'll get you more excited. Pulling off a big bluff or making a big call.
That's a good question. Probably pulling off a big bluff. I mean, the huge calls feel good, but really just knowing when you're just able to needle it at the right point for the right amount and get them to get off a hand, and they have the hand that you think too. You're like, I know you have top pair, I know you have 2 pair, and I think that this bet will get you to get out of my pot, and it does. That feels great.
The thing is, the way that hand played out, obviously you don't know exactly what your opponent has, but when he calls the raise in the turn, you have to assume that ace-X of clubs, a club draw is in that range. I think there are times for an underbluff where you're like, well, I can get him to fold all his draws. All his really small type hands, like if let's say he had king queen of clubs there, and he caught the queen on the river.
The queen on the river, yeah.
I think that gets through. You can kind of underbluff the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to get an ace to fold, you gotta bet a little bit more.
And I think you're right on the bet sizing there. I think 500, you made enough to think about it and then say, whatever, I call. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think 700, 800, I think he thinks about it for 15 seconds and then he's gone. He says, nice 6, and they're on to the next game.
Please fold says overtime or right.
If there's one game deserving of overtime, it's this one, is what he says. Well, unfortunately, guys, the voting does end in 20 minutes, so get in your final votes here. This game, I promise you, will be going for quite some time.
I would, yeah. I mean, and I probably would have done overtime had these folds been more supportive earlier on our commentary.
That's it. See, it's your fault, man.
It's
your fault.
I would go on for 3-4 hours.
That's it.
I mean, if guys aren't going to be appreciative...
Then all of a sudden it turns into Poker After Dark.
Well, I'm saying, if guys aren't going to be appreciative of the commentary, then why are we going to do overtime?
That's it, right?
Sorry, please hold.
All right, going to the flop here. J-Mac picking up Jack, King Kicker. Not much here for Steve to work with. Option on J-Mac first.
Steve's got flush draw.
I totally didn't even see that. I totally didn't even see that. I thought it was spade and club.
And this is another situation where Steve also can play his image. We just saw it happen here. Steve can play his image where he can flatten this very easily. Oh, and look at this. And this is actually a really good card to kind of use the bluff.
Oh, yeah.
Because he can rep the 5. And he's going to get, and he should be able to get J-Mac to fold almost all the jacks. Now, obviously, it's a little bit scary to pull the trigger here because J-Mac's crazy enough that he can have a 5 in his hand too, and he decides not to raise the turn, and instead takes the draw, takes a 7, and J-Mac's going to continue betting. It looks like. I think on the rivers, I think calling is. I think folding is an option if you're Steve K, and I think raising is an option. I think calling is the worst.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I don't think he can call here. I think he literally just has to get away, or he has to pop it up and represent the 5.
Again, we can see the cards. Maybe if you're sitting there, maybe you can convince yourself that J-Mac is bluffing. J-Mac actually really hasn't bluffed that much, to be honest. He's called down light. We haven't seen him bluff too often.
Yeah, no.
I think he gives the image, though, he bluffs a lot more than people think, though.
So Angry Pollock in the chat room says Tuck has been trying to be my side chick for 7 years. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
True. And there's the call. There is the loose call. And great value bet from J-Mac. I mean, J-Mac playing his image. I think he understands the fact that the players assume he's bluffing more than he is.
This
and he gets paid.
This almost reminds me of the hot dog hand, right? He had open-ended, flush draw, the whole 9, misses everything but rivers a pair, and then pays off, the other guy. It's the exact same thing.
Now, this spot was a little bit tougher in the sense that, like I said, I think people assume J-Mac is bluffing more than he is.
Absolutely. But and I love it because J-Mac creates that image for himself. I mean, that's all part of his game, and that was written right in his bio. All right, guys, just over 15 minutes here before we are going to announce our winner. So make sure you get in those votes. Vote all your yellow submarines.
Now listen, I always tell people, I go, if you want to be a hater, you want to troll, be creative. If you're funny, I will give you all the respect in the world. And obviously, hey, anytime that you put yourself out there, you do commentary, you're going to get people that like you, you're going to get people that hate you.
I'm never going to please everybody.
I've always welcomed constructive criticism, whether it be on forums or whatever. Please fold, was saying something earlier on. But he says here, he actually, pretty funny joke. He goes, Tuck looks like he puts in a solid 3 to 4 hour workday.
But it's solid though. It's
Well,
solid.
yes, I work my ass off for about 3 hours and 20 minutes every day, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, my motto, work smarter, not harder.
Hey, amen. All right, we got a lot of fun hands here going to the flop.
What a flop for Nat.
Absolutely. Check this out.
The case ace. The case ace is out there. Now, Nat is behind to Mad Russian's ace queen, but he's got the club draw.
Yeah, she has a world of outs with that though.
100 is the bet.
Not much there for Lowe, nothing there for Steve, nothing there for Yoda. Pot is $180. Get a $100 bet here from Steve. Hot dog calls.
I see it.
Check. Bet from bet 100 here.
Mad Russian bet.
Yeah,
Sorry.
better. Yeah,
It
that's
wasn't
fine.
Steve, okay.
That's fine. So then, yeah, so Lowe's gonna call.
I was going to say, wow, that's pretty ambitious of Steve here.
Lowe's gonna call. She just flat calls. I believe it's on Nat.
Low called?
I believe she did. I think those are green. Those aren't white, are they? Yeah, those are green. She called.
Are the cards wrong?
Oh yeah, Nat actually has the ace jack here of clubs.
Right, which I'm saying, so why is Low calling?
That's a good question. Unless we flipped it back, because didn't Lowe have the ace jack?
No, I don't think so. I mean, at this point, I'm as confused as anybody at home. Mad Russian, I know Mad Russian's still in the lead with ace queen. That much I know. Pot is $680.
All right, Lowe's gonna check it over to Nat.
Nat's got a big hand and a great draw, but at this point, he might be a little bit, wary that he's behind
Yeah.
to a bigger ace or two pair.
Hi, Bobby.
Hot dog also with ace jack. Looks like a $300 bet from from the Mad Russian. But what a turnaround for this guy, huh?
It's the bet.
Oh man, he's been on a roller coaster.
Now this guy, keep in mind, if the set of sevens holds up, he's up 4K. He bets 300.
And Hot Dog calls it. And
Okay,
Lowe-
Lowe's hand's wrong. Or
Yeah.
either she's misreading the hand,
Yeah,
or there's something going on.
yeah. I don't because Lowe is not this player who's calling with an out.
Well, remember she called the flop. The flop was ace 3.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I mean. So I
She
agree.
has 10-9
Yeah.
spades.
300.
There's just no way that, RFID technology doesn't generally give us the wrong cards. Sometimes we don't see any. And out of Nat, and Nat's got the nut flush draw. There's no way he's not calling.
Yeah. No, Nat's in there. Nat's in there for the long haul right now.
And frankly, I wouldn't raise here if I'm Nat.
I think Nat is correctly thinking that I need a club here to be good.
Well, yeah, and the thing with raising if you're Nat is you're not going to get a better hand to fold. I don't think.
No. If anything, you get somebody to re-raise, and then you're like, shit.
Right.
Now,
Let's say let's say he makes it 900, and now Mad
So,
Russian moves all in.
Then
you're
what do you do? You're going
why
to have it
not
for free, and that goes back to opening the floodgates.
Right. Why
I
don't you
wanna
just open
the
at
floodgates.
300?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Lowe has misread her hand and she thinks she has 10-9 of clubs.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'd love to stay on her.
Because 10 out of clubs, so she's actually like, okay, well, now I got
Oh, yeah, of course.
draw, you know?
I would love to stay on her face when she looks at her cards and realizes that 10-9 of spades.
No.
Something's off.
Yeah, and Dondo here in the chat room thinks the same thing. Maybe she has 9-10 of clubs. Elder's like, what is going on here? I don't get it. Looks like we might be in position for a raise here. We're going up. We're going up top.
Yeah, and I don't like this raise at all. I think this is the situation earlier on. Remember we saw Yoda earlier on with King Jack of clubs when he made that great call against Nat?
Yeah.
He correctly deduced that he had the best hand often enough, and he had a big draw. And if he raises, he's probably not getting a better hand to fold. And this spot here, Nat raises because his hand looks pretty.
Yeah.
And he thinks, oh, well, I got to raise. I've got ace jack, I've got a top pair, and I got a club draw. The problem is, I just don't know how often he's getting. Maybe ace queen is the one hand he gets to fold.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Exactly. No,
He's not
I
getting.
gotcha.
I don't know if he's getting ace king to fold. I don't think he's getting ace three, ace deuce, a set.
No, I was going to say he's not getting 2 pair to fold.
And if you're not getting two pair to fold or ace king to fold, your raise is you're literally just trying to get ace queen to fold
So tough. So he made it another nickel. That puts the pot here at about 2.5K almost.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I would prefer the raise if he had, let's say he had like 6-4 clubs, or he had no showdown value. Then you can get a lot of hands that are.
Exactly.
Your hand, Ace Jack is almost too good a hand to bluff with.
So this won't be the first time here. Mad Russian's like, hey, everybody always makes it a nickel to me. They always say it's gonna be 500 for me to play. That's what Hugs did earlier with his dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's getting 5 to 1 with Ace Queen.
No, it's huge, and that's.
Now he has to know that there might be another bet coming on the river, but he's in position on that, so he can call the 500 and then figure out the river when it comes.
I think if this wasn't a
Look
four-way,
at this.
if it wasn't a four-way pot, I think the Mad Russian is much more likely to call and be involved.
I mean, because the players behind him, just called and just called twice. I don't think they ever have better than Ace Queen.
Yeah, well, he's also, and the Mad Russian also has to know there's at least one flush out there. So if a club peels, he knows he's dead.
And Hot Dog calls. Hot Dog's going nowhere.
So Nat's free rolling right now.
yeah, he is.
Nat's super free rolling against Hot Dog.
I mean, this worked out perfect for Nat, but I don't like the play personally. But who the hell am I?
I don't even know how to play this game.
Who cares exactly? Who cares what I think?
And 4 on the river completes a weird little wheel draw if somebody had a 5. Other than that, we're gonna have a chop pot here.
By the way, this $2,900 pot that's going to get chopped up. And let's see the Russian's face when
with
he sees
Ace
the
Jack.
winners.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Watch him check down here with Ace Jack. I don't know if that's gonna happen though.
Yeah, I don't really know what. There's no real reason to kind of go crazy in this one. Your opponent's got $90 left. He's not folding.
Oh yeah. Check. And then let's watch the Russian here. Oh, let me see the Russian.
Wow, nice.
I wish we could. I wish we could see
Yeah, him
him.
to lay down the best hand. But you had a nice roll.
They're gonna chop it up. Oh, there it is. The hands on the head. Oh no.
Yeah, now, I think normally when you have 2 players left to act behind you, you're really scared to call that check raise because your relative position is so tough. But I think, and maybe he folded because he thought Hot Dog had Ace King.
But like again, with the players behind you, you have to realize, okay, how dedicated are we gonna be to this spot? Because let's say you call, let's say you just flat call, and then one guy behind you just jam shoves all in, right?
Yeah, but I don't think.
I don't think they would either when they're just flat calling.
The only thing I'm worried about, is that Hot Dog has Ace King. Because I think if Hot Dog or a low had 2 pair or better, they would have raised.
They would have already been jamming it. Yeah.
I mean, Low's not going to be the 4th person to call.
So what do you think about like at 9-10 of clubs? I can't see her calling. I can't see her flatting the flop with 9-10 random rag catch. Yeah, no, I mean it's not. Yeah,
There's not even a gut shot. What is she calling? Like, I can only assume that her cards were wrong, or that she misread her hand.
Reminder from Waprai, Prince tribute is tonight on Saturday Night Live, so don't miss that. Well, actually, the day that happened, I saw everybody tweeting like #PurpleTears.
The most skills, the most.
Were you a big Prince guy?
Yeah, not huge. That's a big pot and split though. Look, she's still stacking.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Prince, and I think, as far as musicians go and talent goes, and I think there's no denying that this is, one of the most talented musicians to ever, grace our existence. He has more talent musically in his fingertips than most people do in their, entire body.
He's done it for at least 10,000 hours.
Sure, he's 10,000 hours. He's an expert. That said, I was never a couple of songs I was like, yeah, that's cool. But I was never a huge Prince guy.
I hear he was just a showman, just put on a hell of a show. I never saw.
I would have liked to see him live,
right? I mean, I just think, love it or hate it, it would have been awesome. All right, guys, get your votes. 7 minutes. The final vote's coming down. Get him in. He will give you a winner soon enough.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys. Really appreciate it.
Lots of action.
Love you too, man.
Lots of action. Glad you guys are here to see all this. I had a feeling the game would go this way, and I was not disappointed.
By the way, this red box brings up a really good point. He said the Russian was getting 5 to 1, and they're small ones behind. So he didn't actually have to worry. Now let's
The
say,
implied risk wasn't a bunch after that.
right. That's the whole point. If he called the 500, and let's say Hot Dog or a low had 3,000 more, you hate calling the 500 and then watching Hot Dog go 2,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, now.
Right, take a minute.
The problem is, and this red box points brings it up. Great insight there. That if he calls the 500, if Hot Dog or a low were to shove in over the top, Who cares?
Whatever. Yeah, it's another couple. Whatever. It's irrelevant versus the pot size at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can call the extra 200 very easily. The one thing that is interesting, though, and maybe this is why, I mean, obviously the ace queen is. I think we both thought he was going to call because we didn't think it was a good spot to bluff for Nat. Might have been the exact reason why the crazy Russian folded.
Yeah.
Raise the 25.
And that's what I love too about, depending on the players you're playing with and depending on your own skill level. I mean, there's so many layers of different reads you can make on these opponents and how you really, I mean, how deep do you want to go basically? I mean, the sky's the limit. You can almost overanalyze a hand yourself and psych yourself out of actually making the correct play.
How many times have we all leveled ourselves into making a bad call or a bad fold?
And then you see that you made the totally wrong play, and you're like, God, I knew I was right, and I just totally didn't even go. I couldn't go with my own gut. I couldn't pull the trigger.
I've played so many hands with guys where like guys completely nit, and they raise me, they 3-bet me, they keep raising, and I'm like, and I level myself into thinking, okay, the guy's playing back at me because I play a lot of hands.
Yeah.
And he has aces or
he just woke up with an actual hand. You're like, God, I can't believe you woke up with
Every
aces.
time?
Like, yeah, I know. I know.
So, and sometimes you can just level yourself into like thinking, oh no, the guy's bluffing now, and you're like, no, he's never bluffing.
So Steve here from the button is going to raise with ace jack suited. Looks like everybody's going to call. And I'm going to go to flop here, 10-7-5.
No suits out there.
For Yoda.
Yeah, Hawks with a pair of sevens. He technically has the best hand right now, but it's going to be difficult for him to win it. We'll see how it plays out.
No, not on that one.
So we'll see how Yoda plays this draw. Might cement him as my favorite player.
Checks around here. Everybody checks to the original razor. Steve,
I know,
he's going to fire off 150 with a couple of overs.
This hand's got some value. A lot of cards will come off to give him a big draw.
And the problem is if a jack peels off and he makes top, Yoda makes it straight too. So
It's got to be 230. She did say raise.
It's a big bet by Steve. No, not that big, I guess. Low has, well, this might get the 7, this might get the 9-8 to fold. Low has raised her ace king. It's almost as if she can see his cards.
But I did lose.
And Steve calls. What is going on?
Oh, I think Low was just pushing all in for the other 80. That's the only way she could have raised 80, right? Maybe?
I assume.
No. She's got
she
chips.
won
That's
money
weird.
back.
No, I think that the count was wrong.
I think it was a $110 bet and then it raised to 230.
Gotcha.
But
Wow, look at Low playing. It's
But the
getting
thing I don't
aggressive.
understand though is, why did Steve call?
Yeah, I don't know. If anything, Steve's got to go. He's got to push or just go away. He's got. He's gone.
I was really interested to see what Yoda would have done there, but once there's a bet and a raise,
Yeah, I know.
he has to fold. You can't stick around, so he lets it go.
And Low's aggressiveness wins her that pot, and you haven't really seen that from Low tonight. That for me, that's a Low tournament play right there. That is what she does all day long in the tournaments, and that's why she grinds them out and she goes deep and she just gets people off the hands.
The funny thing is, I don't mind Steve's bet on the flop. Because I think there's a lot of money in the pot, and he's going to win it a lot. He can, okay, let me see if I can take this down. My hand's got some equity. But when he gets check raised, I just don't know what he's calling.
No, yeah, I agree with you. That's a kind of a funky call there once he gets raised.
He's getting like 6-1. I guess his thought process is, well, maybe I can catch a diamond, an ace, or a jack. And
unless he thought she was just doing that because everybody checks for the original pre-flop razor, and then you think I don't have it. So he was just going to see if he could fire back at her on the turn. But once she fires into the turn, he's gone. He can't.
Maybe
he's gone.
Maybe he thinks he can float and she'll check the turn.
Yeah. And if she does that, then he's got some position to fire right back at her and get her off that for sure.
I'll buy that tobacco.
The wacky tobacco. All right, guys, just 2 minutes left here. The final home stretch, 120 seconds. Get in your votes. Click it on
Who is the most
right
disciplined player? And again, by the way, Yoda to me showing his discipline by not getting involved with a straight draw, where he doesn't close the action.
Yeah, right there.
I wish I had Yoda's discipline.
Sometimes you're like, oh, I got it. I'm
wish
too
I had
big to
his-
fold.
I wish I had his discipline.
I had to see. 35 is back.
Look at those stack sizes for the 2-5. It's just.
Oh, not yet.
This is an
You gotta find a
absolutely
long list of
insane
people who
game.
want to get this game.
Yeah, I was definitely not disappointed.
They're all in the 2 buckets.
We're just waiting for
Ace, by the way, is still the best hand. was check, check on the turn. River is a 3 of diamonds. Ace-8, still the best hand. Mad Russian's going to have to bet if he wants to win. He's going to check it. Yoda's going to check back, and Ace-High's going to win. No, I'm sorry. Mad Russian is betting, so we jumped the gun there.
Looks like he's going to fire 75.
And Yoda folds.
Showing their discipline.
The Mad Russian got it.
Not that he had anything to work with. All right, guys, 1 minute left on the voting polls.
But this game's great. I tell you, the action here at Stones, this place is hopping. In terms of games, this is a great place to play poker. If you are in the Sacramento area, or really just in the Northern California area.
Yeah, anywhere within a couple hour driving distance, you should definitely check it out. It's worth your time, I promise.
And sometimes big time players, they're like, the biggest game there is a 5-10 or a 2-5. I want to play. If this is a 2-5, imagine how big the 5-10 game gets.
Oh yeah, no, it gets. I mean, I've seen some craziness here. Well, guys, I think that about wraps up our voting here. It's 10 p.m.
Is it the last hand?
That was it. I think that was it there. And
I want more.
I know. I mean, honestly, like we said in the chat box here. I mean, if any hand deserves overtime, this was it.
I want more.
This was it. This was great. We saw some great action here. We saw some great bluffs. We saw some great play. We saw a lot of good hands that missed turn into bluffs too.
I just think it was like theater of the absurd.
Yeah.
There was some phenomenal play and some really creative plays, but there were some plays that you're left scratching your head like, what?
How many times in the chat room did we see people say, "What's going on here?
Right.
What's happening?"
How many times are you and I looking at each other going, what's going on
I don't
here?
even know what I'm seeing.
Right. What is going on here? We do have a winner, and he will, or she, will be coming into the booth very shortly. We'll talk to the winner.
Absolutely.
The winner, of course, will be playing in the June 18th Sit and Go. The winner of that Sit and Go will be playing in a 10K satellite. I'm sorry, 10K World Series of Poker main event. So very exciting
So
stuff.
without further ado,
Let's introduce our winner.
you guys ready?
Drum roll.
Bill,
Here he is.
come on in.
This is what it is, okay? And this is reason enough to procreate, okay? If you procreate, you have kids. They have grandchildren who will vote over and over and over again. And this is the reason to spread your seed, so to speak. Okay, so first of all, congratulations on your
Congrats,
beautiful
buddy.
family.
Thank you. Yeah.
The garbage man.
Yeah.
Taking the garbage out. Kind of a rough day at the table for you, but fortunately, I guess it worked out okay.
Yeah, I won 520.
You won by
Yeah.
20.
Hey, you're still up.
Wow, that's insane. Talk us through for a second before we get to the exciting moment that you won the Survivor Series and you're going to be playing in the satellite, the Sit and Go, to get into the World Series Poker main event. Talk us through that really big Queen 10 of Spades hand.
Well, the flop came. I flopped open ender with the flush draw.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't. I'm surprised I didn't get it all in right there.
We were thinking you might.
Yeah.
And I thought the guy was bluffing me on the river because he just made such a big bet. I
Yeah,
thought my queen was good when I hit my queen.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, yeah, or I wouldn't have called him.
Right. Hey, I assume you didn't do. You know what? I think I'm losing here, but you look like a nice
But
guy. I want to
you
give you
look
money.
nice.
Yeah, I looked at my chip stack and I knew I was ahead. I mean, even if I called the 1,000, I'm still up. I was still up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
that's nice. So that gave you some cushioning room
Right.
to make that call. Okay, cool.
After that hand, the very next hand, I got my half my money.
Right. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, the Ace Jack hand. Where
Yeah.
you called and you ended up chopping it up.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, that
fortunately, that raise got the guy who had Ace Queen out.
Yeah, he had. Oh yeah.
So, yeah, the
he
Mad
had a
Russian
nice
had his
draw
queen.
in second. So he had a nice draw.
So when you came into, I know you played last week,
Yeah.
and
Jake
I have to
won.
imagine it was a boring evening for you, just because nothing went your way. I mean, you didn't get any
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah,
Your
it was
card
card
dead.
dead.
It was tonight a little bit different. You played a little bit more. You mixed it up. You made a great call with the fives.
The five's a great call. Absolutely.
Was it? We were kind of debating if you were in this game, would it be more about winning money or more about winning the contest? What was it for you?
Well, that's when I should have hit the brakes and not played the queen 10 of spades because I already knew that I was doing good on the voting. So I should have I got caught up in that hand.
Just play it cool, yeah.
Right.
Right.
So I was really playing for the votes.
Okay.
And I told everybody when I sat down that I was playing for the vote. But if I got caught up in the hand, I got, if I get a little bonus with it, I'll take it.
Hey, and you still ended up, so you can't complain about that at all.
Rumor has it that a couple of your grandchildren are tech savvy and were able to vote numerous times from different IP addresses. Any truth to that?
I'm not sure about that one.
No, it'd be funny. And Hot Dog in here with 50,000 votes. It's amazing.
Exactly. Last week our winner had. Last week our winner had like 250 votes, and our second place was like 180. Tonight, our winner with like you said, 50,000 votes.
Yeah. No, and I think that we're only going to get progressively more. I mean, I think this is really catching on. I think a lot of people are really in there actively voting, dude. I'm glad you killed it, man.
Yeah,
it's
so
awesome.
we'll see what happens on the tournament.
Okay, so I'm going to ask this each and every week that I'm here. So I asked Jake, our muscular friend last week. If you win the sit and go, and you go down, and you get the seat for the main event, and you get a big score in the main event, you make a final table, you win $1 million, you win a couple $1 million. What are you gonna do with that kind of money?
Well, I'm gonna give Jake his 10% because I was winning 10% with him.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Good, I like it.
And just take care of my family, my grandkids, and take care of a couple of dillers here.
All right, well, between your 43 grandchildren and all your kids. Maybe you can send a few of them to college.
I was going to say, split evenly, everybody gets $1,000, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, you almost have to win first place just to help them out.
I love it.
I'm going to squeeze in the frame for a second here. I just want to tell you guys the importance of having family and grandkids. Hot Dog crushed the voting with his army of millennials. 157 votes total. The closest person trailing behind him is J-Mac with 64.
Wow.
So absolutely just annihilated. Those are the totals on the
I think you said you had 9 grandchildren, not 90. What happened?
I'm only wondering though, okay. Yoda got 2 votes for most stylish, best dressed.
Oh, that's not cool. Those muscles were yoked.
Muscles are not part of your dress, that's part of your body. So
now
and Yoda only got 2 for most discipline and apparently 1 for most skilled. Yoda was kind of my pick. My apologies. I thought he played well.
Yeah, he made 2,500.
I thought he played really well.
So he didn't get a seat, but he made 2,500.
Right,
So it wasn't a bad night for Yoda.
Yeah.
I mean, if he does this 4 more times, forget about the seat.
Don't give me the seat. I got 10 grand.
Yeah, I can win the seat.
I'd like to give a thanks to Act Fast Bail Bonds too. They helped me out too by voting.
Nice.
Mark.
What was
Sweet.
Act Fast.
Act Fast Bail Bonds.
Bail Bonds?
Yeah,
Sweet.
Act Fast Bail Bonds.
That's good. So next time you get yourself in trouble, call Act Fast Bail Bonds at 1-900. Get out.
He'll be here to take the garbage out too, just in case it gets out of control.
Anyway, man, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck to
Congrats
you.
again, Hot Dog. Always a pleasure, buddy.
Good luck on June 18th.
Thank you very much.
Sweet.
That is going to do it for us, man. What a fun night.
Awesome.
It's been a long time. It kinda flew by.
Yeah, I was not disappointed. I was like, I really think this is gonna be a crazy action game, and sure enough, we saw it all. We were all part of it. It was a blast.
You guys told me it was going to be a crazy action game. I don't think in my wildest imagination I would have seen this coming.
Yes.
This was insane. Anyway, though, a lot of fun. Once again, a reminder, next week, if you want to get in on the action and you want to be participating and you want to have a chance at winning a $10,000 World Series of Poker main event seat, you can. Next week and every Saturday until June 18th. Next week it is 6-12 limit hold'em. Make sure you apply by noon on Wednesday.
On Wednesday. And the email address for that, guys, is stonesurvivor@stonesgamblingHall.com. Shoot an email. I believe those go directly to Justin. He censors all the personal information, and then we all vote completely unbiased for what we like, man. So just make it fun, and let's get you on the live stream.
Yeah, and if you can't, if you didn't get that email, don't worry. You can just, if you go to Stones Gambling Hall's website, all the information is there. Just press on a couple of links, and that'll take you to the right spot. A lot of fun here.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much to Justin Curitis, of course, the tournament director here. Thank you, and for everybody here at Stones. Thank you for watching. We will see you next Saturday for more Survivor Series, but don't forget, there is more Stones live action tomorrow night right here. They are here Mondays, Wednesdays, and now Saturdays as well. So thank you. Have a good night, and good night.
You guys are awesome. Have a good one.